So hey guys, how are you all? Welcome to. So we are back with a brand new movie on What If Naruto Dance with Tenten, Samui in high school movie. But before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. One night out in the streets of Japan, in the back of a 7-Eleven, a blonde 16-year-old with blue eyes was in a stare down with three punks who each had a skull logo on the back of their jackets. The blonde's attire included sneakers, blue jeans, a black no-sleeved shirt, a long red no-sleeved jacket over that. Around his neck was a necklace of a green crystal, and tied around his head was a black headband with a red spiral symbol on the center. He is Naruto Namikaze, or as the street fighters of the city regarded him as, Nine-Tailed Fox. "All right, Fox boy, tonight's the night you're going down," one punk declared to the blonde as he adjusted his headband. "Yeah, can we make it quick? I really need to get home," Naruto said in boredom. "You'll need to get to a hospital when I'm done with you," one declared, running at Naruto ready to throw a punch, but Naruto blocked it with his right hand. The punk tried to punch him with his left one, but Naruto blocked it with his left hand, putting them in a stalemate until the blonde raised his right leg up, kicking his opponent in the stomach. He groaned. "Down time," Naruto called, swinging his left leg at the guy's legs, making him trip. The second punk came at Naruto with a spin kick, but Naruto blocked it and spun it, making the guy fall to the ground. The final guy went at Naruto and the blonde boy kneed him in the gut, followed by a kick to the face, finishing it off with a spin kick to his legs, tripping him up like the first guy. Naruto looked down on the three who were groaning. "Thanks for the workout, boys, but I got to bail," Naruto said, checking his watch. "Oh great, 12:30, and I start my semester tomorrow," he said to himself as he started running off. Unaware to him, watching from around a corner, was a girl about 17 years of age with chocolate brown eyes, brown hair done up into two buns like panda ears, and very bosomy. Her attire included a pink sleeveless blouse and dark green pants. She watched Naruto leave the three punks and smiled to herself, saying, "He's good," she said before taking off. The very next morning, over by a big house, Naruto was sleeping in his room that was complete with a TV on a table along with a remote control stereo with a few DVD and CD racks next to it. A laptop computer on a desk with a few books, manga, and magazines. Above it was a corkboard with several messages, pictures, and insignia emblems tacked to it, a red shag carpet on the floor, a skateboard, and an electric guitar with a single amp resting against one wall. The walls were colored blue like the ocean, and were covered by posters of skateboarding, martial artists, and rock bands, and Naruto's bed had double mattresses, with black sheets and pillowcases, and the covers were black with red swirl images on it. Entering his room was a beautiful woman with violet eyes, long bright red hair that reached down to her calves, with strands that framed both sides of her face, with the left one being parted by a hair clip. Her outfit included a high-collared, sleeveless loose-fitting dress with a green apron over it, a black band on her left wrist, and white house shoes. She was Kushina, Naruto's mother. She approached her sleeping son. "Rise and shine, sweetie," she said, and Naruto groaned as he woke up. "Oh mom, do I have to?" "Yes, remember your semester starts today. Now hurry up and get dressed, breakfast will be ready," Kushina said, leaving his room. "Okay mom," Naruto yawned as he went for the bathroom to clean up. He then got dressed, wearing black pants, sneakers, a white collared shirt with the collar popped and the top button unbuttoned. He then wore a black jacket over it, unbuttoned and the sleeve rolled up to his elbows. He finished his outfit by tying his headband around his head and putting his necklace around his neck. He then left his room, going to his kitchen where his mother and two men were waiting. The younger man had blonde hair and blue eyes like Naruto, and wore blue pants and a blue collared shirt. He was Naruto's father, Minato. "Hey look who decided to wake up," the man joked to the older man, who laughed. The other man, who was older, had white spiky hair with a ponytail going down his back, and was wearing black shoes, khakis, and a green sweater vest covering an orange short-sleeved collared shirt. He was Jiraiya, a close friend of Minato and Kushina's, and Naruto's godfather. "Good one, Minato," Jiraiya chuckled. "Yuck it up, you two," Naruto said as he took a seat at the table and ate some cooked ramen. "So Naruto, it's your first day at your new school, excited?" Minato asked, starting a conversation. "Sort of, I'm just hoping no one's a total asshole to me for no reason," Naruto answered. "Naruto, language," Kushina scolded her teenage son. "Hey, it's true," Naruto replied as Minato sighed. "Just make sure you don't get expelled on your first day." "Yeah Naruto, I really had to convince Tsunade to enroll you," Jiraiya said. "You bribed her with money," Naruto scowled. "Yeah, same thing," Jiraiya replied, which made Naruto sigh. "Point is, we don't want you getting kicked out like your last school," Minato said. Hey, those guys had it coming and that prick Mizuki was waiting to get rid of me. I did them a favor. Naruto said like getting kicked out didn't matter to him. So Naruto ate his ramen and checked his watch. Whoop, better hurry, don't want to be late. He said, hugging his father and godfather, and kissed his mother's cheek. See you all later, he said, grabbing his backpack and skateboard going outside. When he exited the house, he looked right next door to another house, and in the front yard was an old man watering his garden. Hey old man Sarutobi, how are you? He asked the old man. The old man, known as Sarutobi, looked over. Ah, good morning Naruto. Where are you off to today? I'm starting my first day at my new school, old man. Naruto explained as he heard a voice call out, Aniki. Rushing outside was a brown-haired boy wearing a blue scarf around his neck. He was known as Konohamaru, the old man's grandson. Hi Aniki, wanna play ninjas today? Love to Konohamaru, but I can't, I'm starting school and I can't be late. Naruto explained, and the boy looked disappointed, but felt Naruto pat his head. Hey, come weekends I'll come by. Really? Thanks. Well, I gotta go, see you two later. Naruto said, dropping his skateboard, got on it, and rolled off down the street heading off. Naruto was rolling around the city, grinding a few railings of stairs going down to a lower level, making a few jumps over a bench or two before he rolled into the streets, holding onto the back of some pickup trucks before he switched lanes, and was singing to himself about the power of love as he rolled. Suddenly he spotted walking ahead of him were three girls dressed in the sailor uniform most girls wear in Japanese schools. One has short pink hair and green eyes. Another had long platinum blonde hair tied in a long ponytail and had a very slender figure, and the final girl had long dark blue hair that goes down to her waist, with straight cut bangs that concealed her forehead, and thin length strands framing her face, and pale eyes. Naruto called ahead, excuse me, can you girls please move? I'm coming through, can't you see? He called as he rode right past them but made them jump back a little. Sorry, he called as he skateboarded off. Watch it, idiot, the pink-haired girl called in anger. What was with that guy? The blonde girl asked. It looked like he was heading in the same direction of the school. The pale-eyed girl said, drumming her fingers while blushing, feeling startled by Naruto's rush. I've never seen him before, must be a new student, the blonde said. I just hope he's not going to be in our class, the pink-haired one said as they continued on. When Naruto finally reached the school building, he skateboarded into the courtyard until he stepped on the back edge of the board, bringing it up, and he was on the ground holding the board. He looked up at the tower in the center with the clock and marveled. Whoa, look at that erect tower, he said because of the tower's tall and straightness, and chuckled at his own joke. Well, better get in and meet with Grandma Tsunade, he said as he walked right into the building. Soon enough he was standing in an office as a beautiful woman with platinum hair and two ponytails, and had an enormous rack, was sitting at her desk facing him. Hey Grandma Tsunade, you're looking great, Naruto said and got a pinch on his face from the woman. Watch it Naruto, while we're close like family, I am the principal here and you will address me with authority, Tsunade ordered. Yes ma'am, Naruto replied. Good, now I have your class list and locker number right here. She handed Naruto a sheet of paper and Naruto looked it over. Naruto Namikaze, birthday October 10th. Student number 153,827. Locker number 489 per 1. English. Kakashi Hitaki, room 219. Per 2. P. E. Metagai gym room. Per 3. Math. Baruka Yumino room 134. Per 4. History. Asuma Sarutobi room 117 per 5. Study hall. Ebisu room 205. Per 6. Home EC. Suzume Namida room 328 per 7. Music. Kuranai Yuhi Music Hall B. Per 8. Theater. Rin Theater. A Naruto thought, not bad, Kakashi, Rin, old man's son Asuma, at least some I know. Well Naruto, you better get going, have a good day, Tsunade told him. Yes ma'am, Naruto said, leaving her office and headed for first period. As Naruto walked to the hall and looked at the hallway map looking for the room first period was being held, he stopped and saw in the window of one room was the girl who was watching him fight last night while he wasn't aware of this but gasped. It's her, Tenten. Naruto suddenly flashed back about a month ago before school started. Flashback: one night Naruto was walking around looking for some good fights until he heard fighting going on and he hurried to find the girl Tenten taking on a group of punks wearing cougar patches on their jackets. Naruto saw she was handling them very well but decided to get in on the action. He swung in, knocking out one guy that tried to come at the girl from behind. Naruto's appearance surprised everyone, even the girl, who was impressed by his move. Hey, I know you're handling these chumps with no problem. But you mind if I join in for the hell of it? He asked Tenten. The girl smirked and answered, not at all. So the two joined together, taking on the punks in a street fight almost as if it was a ballet performance, and combat ballet performance. When the punks realized they were defeated, they split as Naruto watched them and said to himself, that'll show them. Hey you. Tenten called as Naruto turned, seeing her smiling at him with a soft giggle as she leapt over, landing beside him. She formed her right thumb and finger into an L shape and motioned it to the right side of Naruto's head with her finger pressed against his cheek, and his chin resting on her thumb, and she pulled his head closer and she pecked him on his left cheek as he blushed from this. Tenten then walked away from him but turned back around and spoke, nice moves, she said as she continued until Naruto called out. Wait, what's your name? She turned back around and answered, Tenten, and you are? Naruto, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto answered. Tenten smiled, well, catch you later Naruto Namikaze. She winked and hurried off. Naruto stood there feeling the spot where she kissed him and blushed. She's cute, he said to himself. Flashback ends. So she goes here too, but she's a junior, I'm just a sophomore. Naruto said, but remembered he had to get to class. Soon enough he found the classroom and knocked on it. An adult man's voice came from inside, come in. Naruto entered the classroom and saw his father's friend Kakashi, who had silver hair, a mask covering his mouth, and an eye patch over his left eye. Kakashi-sensei, I made it. Ah yes, welcome. Class, I'd like to introduce you to your new classmate. This is Naruto Namikaze, he just transferred here. Kakashi explained to the class as they all look at him. Naruto glanced around the room, seeing the boys wearing the same uniform he was wearing, except their collars were normal and their jackets were buttoned, and sleeves weren't rolled up. He noticed the three girls he passed from before were in his class, with the pale-eyed one looking nervous and blushing, while the other two looked shocked until remembering how he almost ran into them. His gaze then stopped to a boy with black hair who was half brooding until he saw him. Sasuke, is that you? Well Naruto, ain't it a small world, Sasuke said. Naruto walked to Sasuke and the 2-pound fists as Kakashi cleared his throat. Naruto, why don't you tell the class about yourself? Such as sensei, likes, dislikes, hobbies, plans for the future? Kakashi gave some examples. Well, like he said, I'm Naruto Namikaze, I like ramen, pizza, soda, and manga. What I hate are douchebags, whiny people who don't do squat, cowards, vegetables, and people who judge others before getting to know them. Naruto started. My hobbies include skateboarding, playing my guitar, and practicing martial arts. My plans for the future are nothing career-wise, but if anything for the moment I aim to be the top street fighter in the city. Naruto explained. This got everyone looking at him while Sasuke smirked hearing all this before when they were junior high students. Suddenly the pink-haired girl spoke up, what kind of stupid plan is that? Hey, what's your name? Naruto asked. Sakura, Sakura answered. Well Sakura, shut up, Naruto said in a Jack Black tone. Sakura growled and was ready to do something before Kakashi spoke up. Okay, that's enough. Everyone, Naruto will be joining us this year, so treat him like you treat each other, or not, he joked. Hi sensei, they said as Naruto took a seat behind Sasuke as the boy looked back at him. Word of advice, don't tick Sakura off too much, she'll try to maul you. Believe me, as her boyfriend I've seen plenty. She's the Sakura you mentioned about in your texts? Naruto gasped quietly. Yeah, so? The way you described her was nothing like this, Naruto said. She's not that bad, Sasuke said as they got ready for class. As the hours went by, class was just about up and the students were pouring out of the classes eager to get home. Some were bumpy into their janitor known as Danzo Shimura, an old man with a bandaged right eye and a missing right arm. Hey you little brats, I just mopped there. Danzo called and grunted, when I become principal of this school I'll teach them some respect. He grumbled as he got back to work. Naruto was then walking out of the building with Sasuke. Well Naruto, how was your first day here? Well, could have been better. I mean, Guy Sensei's brutal exercises were nothing compared to Iruka Sensei's math cramming, Naruto said. You'll get used to it. Sasuke smirked, after all you're the future top street fighter in the city. You got that right, Naruto smirked back as two students approached him. One was big-boned with red swirls on his cheeks, while the second was thin and had brown hair done up in a pineapple ponytail. Hey Sasuke. The thin one said. Yeah Shikamaru? Sasuke asked the boy. Look, I know it's troublesome, but me and Choji are heading to the barbecue hut. You and your friend want to come along? Sasuke turned to Naruto. How about it Naruto? Naruto thinks about it, knowing this would be a good opportunity to make some friends, and answered, sure, I'm game. All right, let's go. Choji cheered as he marched off followed by Shikamaru and Sasuke, while Naruto skateboarded after them. I think this school might be just my kind of place, he thought to himself. Later that day Naruto, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Choji were at the barbecue restaurant in the city enjoying some grilled steaks. Man, this stuff's good, Naruto said taking a bite. I'll say. Choji agreed eating some as well. So Sasuke, you and Naruto are friends? Shikamaru asked taking a sip of water. Yeah, back when we were tykes, our families were close, Sasuke said. But then when Naruto began, but Sasuke glared at him to not finish that sentence, knowing he was going to bring up the memory that he always hated remembering. We got older, we ended up going to separate schools. We'd keep in touch by texting and calls, but that was about it. Well, it must be nice that you two guys are reunited, Choji said as he stuffed himself. I guess. Sasuke said, too proud to admit it until Naruto pulled him into a headlock followed by a noogie. Oh, admit it, Sasuke, you know you missed me. Hey, cut it out, Sasuke called as he got Naruto off him. Suddenly the radio inside the place started playing rock music and Naruto looked excited. Oh yes, I love this, he said as he started rocking his head up and down to the sound, prompting the other three to join in liking the song as well. When they finished their food they paid and exited, only for Naruto to look up ahead seeing a group of 7 bullies picking on a single boy. Naruto got a good look and gasped. Hey Sasuke, it's Kaji Miyuzo and his rockheads from the Tsuchi Academy northwest of here. Really, I thought their bruises looked familiar, Sasuke joked. You know those guys? Choji asked. Yup, now if you'll excuse us, we need to get reacquainted, Naruto said as he and Sasuke approached them. Yo Kaji. The group turned to the two and gasped as the lead known as Kaji spoke, Nine-Tailed Fox, and Soaring Hawk. He motioned to Naruto first and then Sasuke. That is a name I have outgrown, Sasuke replied about his nickname. So what did you want? Another member asked. To teach you a lesson about ganging up on the weak, Naruto said, motioning to the boy they were picking on who got up and ran. Either you're strong or you're weak, pal, that's the way life works, one member replied. What would you guys know about life? Sasuke challenged them. We know plenty, Kaji replied. Yeah, you guys know how to lose, Naruto said to spite them. You looking to start something? Kaji challenged them. Maybe we are, Sasuke answered with a smirk. Alright then, let's have a go, Kaji said as he and his gang got ready. Shall we? Naruto asked Sasuke. After you, Sasuke answered as they took off to fight. Sasuke attacked 2 guys with a kick to their heads, their sides, followed by their legs tripping them up. Oh yeah, like the old days. Come on, show your moves, Naruto beckoned 3 to attack. The 3 charged at Naruto, who ducked a punch from one and kicked his back sending him to the ground, followed by doing a backflip twist as the second punk tried to slug his fist down on him. Naruto, taking advantage of his opponent's bent over position, spun kicked his face making him fall flat. The third punk came at Naruto as the blonde threw a punch only to have his hand get caught in the palm of his opponent. He laughed mockingly that the punch failed, only for Naruto using his caught fist to make the guy uppercut his own jaw, throwing him off his game. Go down, Naruto called, finishing him with a spin kick. Naruto and Sasuke saw 2 more left, with one being Kaji. Double knockout? Sasuke asked Naruto. You're on, Naruto agreed as they rushed to 2 side by side and swung their right, left arm back and slugged the final 2 into the other 5 who got up beaten enough. You'll pay for this, Kaji called as he and his boys ran off. Naruto and Sasuke, both smirking at each other, chuckled as they raised their right fists and pounded the bottom of them. Naruto, Sasuke, Shikamaru called as he and Choji went to them. That was incredible. Where'd you guys learn to fight like that? Choji asked. Lots of practice, Naruto answered. I never knew you had moves like that, Sasuke. Shikamaru turned to the Uchiha. I don't really like getting involved with fights as much as before. That's what bums me out. We were a good team, Naruto said. Why'd you decide to quit? This is your world, Naruto. I have no right to take it away from you, Sasuke answered. Oh Sasuke, I'm touched, Naruto said, acting happy. Alright, hug me and I'll break you, Sasuke warned him. What was with those nicknames they gave you? Choji asked. It's what represents us. Sasuke was known as the Soaring Hawk because he soared over just about any opponent. Naruto explained. As for me and my nickname, let's just say I got Fox Class, and I got Fox Style. Whatever you say, Shikamaru said, sounding uninterested. I better get going, Sakura, and I have a date tonight, Sasuke said. Catch you guys tomorrow, he said running off. Later sass. Naruto called, I got to jet too, thanks for the barbecue guys, next time I'll buy, he said jumping onto his skateboard and rolled off. Later that afternoon Naruto rolled up to his house, pulled out his keys and unlocked the door going inside. Mom, Dad, I'm home. Kushina and Minato walked into the living room seeing their boy. Hey Naruto, how was your first day? His father asked. Actually it was great, I saw Sasuke again, Naruto explained. That's great, so how is he? Kushina asked. He's okay, a little moody, but that's how he's always been. Naruto chuckled, where's Jiraiya? That man is once again out looking for inspiration, Kushina said in disgust. Typical Jiraiya, Naruto chuckled, well I'll be in my room, good thing about first day they don't give you hard work. He said as he went to his room and closed the door. Naruto then changed out of his school uniform and back into his real clothes save for his red long sleeveless jacket hanging on a hook. He pulls up a manga and started reading for a few minutes until he heard a tapping sound, He looked to his window seeing a pebble hit it, so he walked to look outside and saw Tenten standing outside out of the school uniform and in her casual wear. Naruto opened his window. Tenten. Hi Naruto, can I come up? Tenten asked. Sure. Naruto said as Tenten managed to climb up a ledge of the roof outside Naruto's window and climbed through the window. How do you know where I live? Naruto asked her. I was walking by here 2 weeks ago, and I saw you enter this place so I figured this would be your house. Tenten explained. Oh. Naruto said and he quickly went to lock his door making Tenten look at him. Why'd you lock the door, planning something? She asked with a smirk. I don't want my parents to know I have a girl in my room. Naruto started. My mom will flip out and make assumptions, while I'll get in an awkward position with my dad who tries to explain a fact about life. That is basically a sitcom moment. Tenten giggled. You're a funny guy Naruto, strong and a funny demeanor. Strong? Naruto asked as he looked at her as she was sitting on his bed. That's right, I've seen the kind of moves you've used on other street fighters in brawls. The bun-haired girl said. Well they're not much, just a few martial arts moves I learned from an old master named Kimobora. He was a wise man who taught me about the strength of body and mind, and fighting with honor and to protect. Sure sounds like a wise man, maybe he can teach me some things, Tenten said. That's not possible, Naruto said, he died 2 years ago. Oh my, I'm sorry. It's okay, before he died he wanted me to promise him I would fight with honor and not start fights unless someone else does. Naruto explained as he sat beside her. Tenten put a hand on Naruto's right shoulder, I am sure he'd be very proud of you. Naruto smiled at her for her kind words, he sure would be. Tenten smiled at him and suddenly remembered why she came. Listen, I'm meeting with some friends of mine at Hero's coffee shop, you wanna come? Sure, but I hope I wouldn't be imposing. Don't worry you won't be imposing, I invited you, Tenten smiled. Well then, I'll be there. Naruto answered. Good, meet you around 8, Tenten said as she went out Naruto's window and climbed down before walking off. Naruto watched her leave and smiled. Wow, an older girl asking me out, this must be my lucky day. When it was 7:30 Naruto grabbed his jacket and his board walking outside his room seeing his parents in the kitchen who spotted him. Where you off to tonight Naruto? Minato asked. Going to Hero's for a latte, I'll be back later. Naruto said going for the door until his mother called. Don't come back with multiple bruises like before. Don't worry mom, I'm not looking for one tonight, Naruto said as he walked outside, put on his jacket, and rolled off on his board. Later on Naruto rolled up to the coffee shop and jumped off his board. I sure hope I wasn't invited here only to get stood up, Naruto said looking around until a familiar voice called him. Naruto. Naruto turned and saw Tenten leaning against the wall of the coffee shop. Hi Tenten. Glad to see you made it, come on, she brought him inside. Naruto and Tenten entered the shop seeing people sitting down having coffee or buying it. Tenten brought the blonde into a booth where 2 more boys were waiting for her. The first one had black hair done in a soup bowl hairstyle, and large eyebrows, his attire included a green tracksuit. The second boy had long brown hair, pale eyes, a sweatband around his forehead, a yin-yang pendant around his neck, and wore a pair of sneakers, brown pants, and a silver shirt. Hey guys, we're here, Tenten told the 2 boys as she and Naruto entered the booth. The 2 boys' eyes Naruto, you're that new student that just transferred. The one with the eyebrows noticed. That's me, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto introduced himself, and you two are? I am Rock Lee, the most youthful of students on track and field. the eyebrows boy declared. Naruto looked weirded out by that declaration and looked to the pale-eyed boy who reminded him of someone from his class. And you? I am Neji Hyuga. He answered plainly. Hyuga, you know a Hinata Hyuga from my class? Naruto asked. She's my cousin. You two are family, huh? Does everyone in the Hyuga have the same eyes? Naruto made a little joke, but Neji scowled. Anyway, so Naruto, how's our school working for you? Tenten asked the blonde. It's not bad, I mean a few snobs and pretty boys, but I've seen worse. Naruto said, resting his head back. What's your opinion of the female student body? Tenten asked with a playful grin. Naruto glanced at her. Are you trying to get an answer out of me so you can use it against me? I'm just messing with you. Tenten chuckled as she playfully patted his shoulder. So who wants a latte? Naruto asked. Soon the four of them were having a latte and laughing at jokes they were saying, and the centaur said, that's not the half I'm talking about. Naruto finished and Lee and Tenten chuckled while Neji had an amused smile. With your sense of humor you should be a stand-up comic, Neji said. Maybe, but right now I only got one thing in mind, Naruto said, taking a sip of his latte. Let me guess, top Street Fighter? Neji asked. How do you know that? Naruto asked. It's all around in the street fighting underworld here in the city, Lee explained. There's not a fighter in this city who doesn't know Nine-Tailed Fox, Tenten added. Well, I do have a certain reputation, Naruto said, not wanting to brag until he spotted a karaoke machine on a stage. Hey karaoke, now that's what I'm talking about, he said, rushing up to it and searched for a song. Oh yeah, this is right. Naruto stood facing the people. Here's a little something from the Nine-Tailed Fox of this city, he said as the machine played the music and Naruto sang. Tenten and her friends watched and were amazed at his singing talent while Tenten almost had little hearts in her eyes. Wow. He's full of surprises, she thought. Various customers in the shop and the employers applauded for Naruto's performance as Naruto waved a hand. Thank you very much. Later the four met outside the shop as Neji turned to leave. I have to go, my uncle needs me home, he said as he walked off. See you tomorrow, Tenten called. Farewell, I'm off to practice my youthful runs, Lee said, all giddy as he took off like a shot. Naruto chuckled. You got quite a bunch of friends, Tenten. I know, you fit in quite well with them, Tenten replied. Fit in? Naruto asked. Of course, you're my friend, aren't you? Tenten asked. Yes, I mean of course, Naruto said, taken back by this. Well then I guess I'll see you tomorrow around school, Tenten said, going to leave but looked back at him. Until then, Foxy. She winked at him, making him blush, and she continued on. Naruto got out of his stupor and boarded off deep in thought. Wow, that Tenten, she must really dig me. When Naruto got in, he spotted his parents asleep on the couch as the credits of a romantic movie played on the TV. Naruto smiled and went to his room and changed out of his clothes into red boxer shorts and climbed into bed. Tomorrow is another day, he said to himself before falling asleep. The very next day at school, during the second period of phys ed, Naruto and his class had to share this period with the juniors, who also had phys ed for second period as well with their instructor Guy. On one side of the gym were Naruto and the boys in their gym uniforms doing some slow jogging laps around the gym, while on the other side of the gym were the girls taking phys ed with their instructor Anko Midarashi. I don't know, but I've been told, Naruto called to the others as they jogged. I don't know, but I've been told, the boys repeated. Guy-sensei's class makes ya mighty bold, Naruto continued as the boys repeated. Guy-sensei's class makes ya mighty bold. Sound off, Naruto called. 1-2. Sound off, Naruto called. 1-2. Bring it on down, Naruto finished. 3-4. On the other side the girls were watching the boys. Wow, look at Sasuke jog. Sakura fawned. I know such form, another girl agreed. Look at you girls fawning over him. Another female voice came from a girl with red hair, with one side a little messy and the other side neatly done. Karen. Sakura frowned. How you and Sasuke ever hooked up, Sakura, I'll never know, Karen said to spite her. Well, at least I got someone, you skank, Sakura said to spite her back. Karen turned to her. Oh, you did not just say that, you hussy. Karen and Sakura were started a cat fight until Anko approached. Hey, knock it off, she ordered, and the girls stopped. Another outburst like that and you two will be sent to the principal's office, and Tsunade hates dealing with disobedient students. The two girls paled, recalling several students who were sent to her office. They came out looking pale as ghosts. Good, now come on girls, let's test your ability, Anko said, stepping in front of a high jump. When I blow my whistle, one of you will run and see if you can make the jump. Hinata, you're up. She called as Hinata approached and when the whistle was blown. The Hyuga girl ran to the post before making the jump and over the pole landing on the mat. This resulted in applause from her fellow classmates. Not bad. Next up Sakura. Anko called as she blew the whistle and Sakura did the same thing, which was noticed by Sasuke, who was still jogging, and smirked. That's my girl, you guys, he told the boys. You don't have to tell us, Sasuke. A white-haired boy known as Suigetsu remarked. What, you still upset cause you're still single, Suigetsu? Shimakaru asked. Suigetsu turned to him. Put a sock in it, Nara. Suddenly Tenten was called and she rushed and jumped over with perfect skill, landing on the mat and looked over at Naruto, who was watching. She put a finger to her lip and blew him a kiss while winking. Naruto blushed when he saw that, and it didn't go unnoticed by the other boys. Well, looks who's getting popular with the panda girl. A boy named Kiba nudged Naruto's shoulder. What? Naruto turned towards him. That's what she's known as, Panda Girl, because of her hair, Kiba explained. Well, don't call her that in front of me, Naruto frowned. Anyway, you're damn lucky, you just arrived here and already you got an older girl digging you, Kiba said. Would it bruise your envy if I said I met her before I came to this school, and she dug me then? Naruto asked with a simper. Kiba glared. You know, I actually hate you. I've heard that before, Naruto replied. Meanwhile, with the girls, Tenten got off the mat and joined the other girls as Sakura spoke. Tenten, right? Yeah? She asked. Why did you suddenly give our new classmate that look? Sakura asked. You mean the little fox? Tenten asked, motioning to Naruto. Little fox? Ino and Hinata asked. Yup, that's what he is to me. Tenten smiled, a cute little fox. Sakura and Ino gawked while Hinata blushed at such a nickname given to one such as Naruto. But he's a juvenile who street fights for a living, Ino said. Tenten smirked. That's what makes me all the more attracted to him. Soon Guy stood before his students. All right, my youthful students, today after successfully completing our warm-up jogs, you're all climbing the rope today. Choji groaned. Oh, I hate the rope. Choji, such an unyouthful thing to say. Rope climbing builds one's stamina, and high stamina is the key to reaching the top. Guy explained. Wonderfully explained, sensei. Lee cheered. Now then, have we any volunteers? Guy asked, looking amongst the boys with only Lee seemed to be willing to take the first climb. How about you, Naruto? Me, sensei? Naruto asked. Yes, since you've just arrived here, I'm still curious to see how much the flames of youth burn within you. Well, all right then. Naruto said, a little scared by his sensei's reasons. Naruto approached the rope and got ready, and, go, Guy called. Naruto jumped onto the rope and started climbing it almost like a monkey climbing up a tree. Naruto reached the top and climbed back down, landing on the map. There you have it. Naruto presented himself. Not bad, Naruto. 11 seconds. Guy said while looking at his stopwatch. Yosh, Naruto, your flames of youth truly are astounding. I hereby declare you my eternal rival in this class. Lee declared. Why me? He asked himself. After a half an hour phys ed was done and the boys were in the locker room showering off the sweat. Guy sensei's training is a pain on my muscles, Shikamaru said, drying himself off. And it's bad on my feet, Choji said, looking at some blisters. And just think, another whole semester of this, Naruto added with a smirk, making them feel more depressed about it. Yeah, and a whole semester of you able to look at Tenten while you break a sweat, Sasuke joked. Yeah, but her sweating makes her all the more hot, Naruto said as Shikamaru gagged. As the hours went by, classes were over and the students were leaving while Naruto decided to hang out by the school, not ready to go home right away. Maybe I'll see what goes on around here after school, he said, deciding to go around back to the school's sports field. He looked on the sports field, seeing the track members running laps, and cheerleaders practicing cheer routines. Naruto spotted a bench and that Tenten was on it, watched the boys run. He smiled, walking up to her. Hey there, he called, getting her attention. Oh, Naruto, she said. Mind if I join you? Naruto asked. Not at all, she said, and Naruto took a spot next to her. You here to watch Lee run track? Naruto asked. Yeah, it's mostly for support. What about you? Come here to watch the cheerleaders? The bun-haired girl teased him. Actually, yes. Naruto began, making Tenten frown a little until he continued, and what disappoints me is that you're not on it. Tenten's frown changed to a smirk. Well, the cheerleading uniform would show of my hot sexy body, she said, leaning against Naruto's shoulder, making him blush, but I just don't roll with vain girls like them. She motioned to the cheerleaders. Vain cheerleaders, so it's not just a stereotype. Naruto cracked a joke and they laughed. Naruto then reached into his backpack. Beverage? He offered, holding up an energy drink. Yeah. She replied, taking the drink. So they sat on the bench having their drinks while watching the school teams practice. By the way, Tenten, that was a sweet jump you made in phys ed today. Thanks, you weren't so bad yourself while jogging and climbing the rope. Well, I work out in my spare time in my gym in the basement. Naruto explained. There was a bit of silence between the two for a minute until Naruto asked, so Tenten, where do you go after school? Well, I go to Heroes, hang around here watching Lee practice, get something to eat, and the occasional street fight. What did you do after school before you came here? Well, I'd skateboard around the city, grab a drink or a snack, have a street fight of two, play my guitar, and sometimes stare out at the city from a high view. Naruto explained. I see, Tenten said as they continued sitting together. Naruto turned to her. Say, Tenten, sometime this week if you're not too busy after school, would you like to have dinner with me? Tenten looked at him with an amused smile. Quite a move, Naruto. We've been classmates for 2 days and already asking me out? She smirks, making Naruto worried if it was too soon, but she giggled. I'm messing with you. I'd love that. You would? Naruto asked. Tenten smiled and nodded before slipping him a slip of paper. Those are my contacts if you ever want to find me, she said as Naruto looked at the paper, seeing a cell number and a street address. Well, I better get going. See you tomorrow, Tenten said, pecking his cheek before hurrying off. Naruto smiled watching her leave and looked at the contacts. I love this day, he said as he pocketed the contacts, grabbed his board, and hurried off. One Monday as school ended, the students were walking the halls until Rin, the theater teacher, was sitting by a desk in the main lobby with flyers. Attention students, she said, getting everyone's attention. This Friday the theater club will be hosting the annual Konoha High Talent Show. For those willing to participate, please sign your name right here. This got the attention of some students as Kiba and Lee signed first. Sweet Akamaru, and I can totally take this contest by storm, Kiba said. Do not be so sure, Kiba. I shall entrance the audience with my displays of martial arts, Lee called as he did some poses. Step aside, boys, me and Sakura are winning this one, Ino said as she and Sakura got through the two and signed their names. In your dreams, Karen said, signing as well. My ballet moves are going to leave you all hanging high and dry, or in your cases wet. Sasuke looked to Shikamaru and Choji. You guys signing up? Not worth it, Shikamaru said, uninterested. Yeah, and besides, the only talent I know worth using is burping the alphabet in one go, Choji added. Sasuke turned to Naruto. Why don't you sign up, Naruto? You have skills with the guitar. Yeah, but I rarely play for large audiences, mainly for my family, Naruto reminded him. What's this planning on trying out, Naruto? Tenten asked, sliding by. Well, I never decided, but I don't know, Naruto said. Come on, Naruto, or are you just scared you may actually lose? Sasuke teased him. Lose? Me? Naruto asked in outrage. You'd wish, he said as he signed his name to the sheet. Reverse psychology gets him every time, Sasuke told Tenten, who giggled. Soon after, Naruto and Sasuke were walking away from the school as Sasuke asked Naruto, have you decided what you're going to play? Well, first things first, I got to get my guitar checked, along with some polish, not to mention my amps need to be taken in, Naruto explained, but it can be done. Well, good luck with that, Nar. See you tomorrow, Sasuke said, going a different route. Later, Naruto called as he continued home. As Naruto finally reached his house and saw his dad was watching the sports show until the man saw his son walk in. Hey Naruto, how was your day? It was good, though I'm gonna be busy this week, Naruto answered. How so? I've signed up for our school's talent show Friday, Naruto replied. Talent show? Kushina poked her head out of the kitchen. Yeah, Mom, I've signed up. It would be good to get my guitar skills known to the school so they know I'm not all street fights, Naruto said. Though I better take my guitar into the shop and get some polish I got till Friday, he said, going to his room. He picked up his guitar and marveled at it. Well, Hirai-san, I'm gonna need your help in this matter. But let's get you tuned up, he said as he brought out a guitar case and placed it inside. Later that afternoon, Naruto was walking through the city until he entered an instrument shop known as Atsui's Music Hotspot. He entered the place that was surrounded by all sorts of rock and roll instruments, amps, microphones, cable wires, etc. Atsui, you in here? Naruto called to the desk. Coming out through the back was a young man in his early 20s who had medium-length light-colored hair, in an asymmetrical bowl-cut style, and the kanji for heat tattooed on his left shoulder. His outfit included sneakers, jeans, and a gray shit with an image of two guitars crossing to form an X on it. Naruto. What's up, buddy? The guy known as Atsui asked. Great, Atsui, how about here? Hotspot's always hot. Atsui answered, so what brings ya here? I got a school talent show coming up and Hireishin needs to be looked at, along with getting some polish for it. Naruto explained. You're in luck, we just got a new shipment of polish. Atsui answered and called into the back. Hey Samui, bring me out some of that polish. Coming. A female voice replied. And coming out from the back was a woman about 18 years of age, who was fair-skinned, tall, and curvaceously built with a sizable bust that rivaled that of Principal Tsunade. She had blue eyes and straight blonde hair framing her face with a shorter cut in the back and the front bangs reaching her shoulders. Her outfit included a tight-fitting gray halter top, a black short skirt, and gray high boots. When Naruto noticed her, he felt like he was about to pass out from looking at the goddess that stood before him. He trailed downward, getting a look at her chest while making sure his eyes didn't look like they were glancing down. Oh damn, hers are on par with Tsunade Ba-chan, he thought. Here's the polish. The woman known as Samui said calmly. Thanks. Oh, I forgot this is your first time actually meeting. Atsui said, looking at the girl and the customer. Naruto, this is my sister Samui, she just started working here. Samui, I'd like you to meet my #1 customer Naruto Namikaze. What's up? Naruto asked. Hi. Samui replied. Well, why don't you two get to know each other while I look over Naruto's Hireishin? Atsui asked as he took Naruto's guitar in the back to inspect it, leaving the two alone. At first the two felt awkward until Naruto decided to finally start a conversation. So you're Atsui's sister? Strange, he never told me about you. Well, he normally thinks if he mentions he had a sister, guys might try to ask him to set me up with them, Samui answered. Well, I'm not one of those guys, Naruto assured her. Samui looked at him and spoke, by the way, I saw the way you looked at me. What do you mean? Naruto asked a bit nervously. The way you glanced at these. Samui said with a scowl as she crossed her arms under her impressive bust and used her arms to heft them up to give him the hint. Honestly, I'm not like that, seriously. Naruto started protesting, not wanting to get on her bad side, thinking she'd tell her bro and he would really be in for it. It's not that big a deal. Samui replied, lowering her scowl, which confused Naruto. You're not the first person to look at them. I mean, I can't blame you, any girl my age with girls like these would be the first thing to catch guys' eyes. If they're that uncomfortable, why not just get reduction surgery on them? Naruto suggested. Thought of that once. Samui began, but then I thought one day I'll regret it by having the whole you don't know what you have until you've lost it ordeal. The two started chuckling at that joke. You got a good sense of humor, Samui, Naruto admitted. Thanks, I normally keep myself cool and collected. Samui replied, so you're entering a talent show, huh? Yeah, at my school Konoha High, I was just transferred there a week ago, Naruto explained. You don't say? Samui asked, so what else do you do? Well, in this city I partake in street fights under the identity of Nine-Tailed Fox, Naruto explained. Samui turned to him in surprise. You mean you're that Nine-Tailed Fox? You've heard of me too? Naruto asked, surprised. I have a friend who's also a street fighter. In fact, he's one of the best there is. You ever hear of the 8-tailed Octo Ox? Samui asked. I've heard rumors about him. Naruto said he was supposed to be one of the strongest in the street fighting underworld. You've heard correctly then. Samui said, though don't let the title and reputation intimidate you. He's really just a strong man who loves rapping. Sure hope one day I could meet him, Naruto said. You never know. Samui said until Atsui came out of the back with Naruto's guitar. All right, Naruto, it's good to go. Just careful you don't use it as a smashing weapon like those other heavy metal glamorates. Not on your life. Naruto explained. Well, see ya guys later. Nice meeting you, Samui. He was about to leave. Wait. Samui called him back and he stopped. Could I possibly see you at your talent show? Sure, it's on Friday around 7. Naruto answered. See you there, he said, leaving. Atsui smirked at his sister. Getting kinda close, aren't ya, sis? There's something about him, Atsui. Something cool, Samui answered. The very next day after class, Naruto, not wasting any time, hurried home and started doing his homework, unaware of his parents watching him from an opening in his door. I've never seen our son so determined to get homework done, Kushina said. Looks like this talent show is really motivating him, Minato believed as they continued letting their son work in peace. After Naruto finished his homework, he brought out his guitar and hooked it up to his amp and started tuning it to the right rhythm, making sure not to play too loud for fear of upsetting his parents or disturbing the peace. Naruto was continuing playing his guitar for a few hours, making sure it was the right volume and pitch. Soon he stopped playing for some rest. Man, I can't remember when I've ever worked this hard with my guitar, he said to himself. His cell phone started ringing and he checked, seeing Tenten's name come up. Hello? Naruto asked. Naruto, it's me. Am I calling at a bad time? Tenten asked on the other line. Not at all, I just finished up practicing for the talent show, Naruto answered. Thank goodness. Listen, I was wondering if you're not busy, would you like to do dinner like you asked before? Really, when and where? Naruto asked. 7 tonight, meet me outside Sukumari's, you know where it is, right? You bet, I'll be there. Good, see you then. Bye. Naruto said as they hung up. Naruto then started cleaning himself up for his date and soon headed out to meet up with Tenten outside the restaurant known as Sukumari's. Tenten. Naruto called as he approached her. Right on time, Tenten said with a smile. Wouldn't miss this, Naruto said as the two went inside. So for an hour the two were having some food while shooting the breeze. So how's your practicing with the talent show going? Tenten asked. It's coming along, my guitar's in good shape and I'm in the right mood to play it. I just hope the others' talents don't make me look inferior, Naruto answered. You'll be fine, Tenten said and noticed a bit of rice stuck to his cheek. Hold still. She plucked it off his face and ate it, unaware that Naruto was blushing. Thanks, he said with a blush. Tenten giggled at his sheepishness as they continued having dinner until it got late and they each headed back home. The next 2 days Naruto did what he's been doing from going to school, followed by his homework, and guitar practice, followed by a break. Soon it all paid off when Friday came and gathered in the gymnasium on a stage was opened for the contestants, while in the back was Tsunade, Rin, and Kakashi as the 3 judges. The first act up was Kiba and his dog Akamaru. Kiba was having Akamaru do all sorts of dog tricks from the basic roll over, sit, shake, speak, hoop jumping, and dance on his back legs. The duo got their round of applauses as they went off stage. In the crowd of people, Minato, Kushina, and Jiraiya were sitting at a table eager for Naruto to soon be called. I can't wait to see my baby play, Kushina said. Hope he doesn't get stage fright, Jiraiya added. Meanwhile, in the back of the stage was Naruto watching as Lee was called up and was showing off his talent in martial arts. Okay Naruto, do not panic, this is nothing, Naruto said to himself. Getting kinda tense, aren't you? Karen, who was dressed in a ballet leotard, asked with a smirk. It's not much, besides you're the one that should be tense, because after all, you're up, Naruto said as Karen saw she was being called and she smirked to Naruto along to Sakura and Ino. Enjoy your loss, losers. Naruto sat down drinking some water as Sakura and Ino waited. So you girls ready for this? You bet we are, Naruto. Sakura nodded. We'll have the crowd roaring with excitement, Ino added. Well, it might be difficult seeing that's your competition, Naruto said, pointing to Karen, who was performing skilled ballet moves. Don't worry about us, we'll be fine, you focus on yourself, Sakura told Naruto, who nodded. Soon it was Sakura and Ino's turn and they got on stage and music played as they sang a duet. The crowd started applauding while Sasuke was rooting for Sakura mostly. The two girls took a bow before going backstage, where they got claps from Naruto, Kiba, and Lee, while Karen frowned. Well, my friend, you are the final act, Lee said to Naruto, nudging him to go. Good luck out there, Kiba said. You're gonna need it, Karen said despite him. Don't worry about me, Naruto said as he was called and went to the stage, where he saw his parents and Jiraiya at one table who were cheering. He then spotted around the back was Tenten watching in excitement, and not too far from her was Atsui and Samui, who were eager to see him perform. Naruto was setting up his amp along with his guitar as he stood ready. Here's a little something for all you music lovers out there. Naruto spoke into the mic as he started some slow guitar riffs as he started singing Band on the Run. Soon Naruto started playing a louder beat on his guitar, which got the audience ready to the real entertainment. Naruto was rocking with his guitar and sang louder and louder. This started getting his parents and godfather glad to see he wasn't nervous anymore. Tenten was also applauding and had hearts in her eyes from Naruto's performance, while Atsui and Samui were smiling seeing him play it like a pro. As Naruto finished with one final guitar riff, the crowds roared with applause on such a splendid performance. Naruto unhooked his guitar from the amp and went backstage with the others. Naruto, your performance was wonderful with such passion and energy, Lee cheered. You played like a pro, Kiba admitted. Where'd you learn how to play like that? Ino asked. Lots of practice, he answered and turned to Karen, who responded. I got nothing to say, she replied in jealousy. Soon the three judges got everyone's attention. After careful judging and decisions made, me and my two judges are happy to announce this year's talent show winner is. Rin started as the contestants were eager as was the audience until Rin announced the winner, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto's eyes widened and a smile grew on his face as he ran onto the stage and was awarded the trophy by Rin. Kiba looked envious but glad for Naruto nonetheless. Sakura and Ino sighed knowing they couldn't win everything while Karen stormed off not wanting to stick around. In the crowds Naruto's family was cheering along with Tenten, Atsui, and Samui while Sasuke smiled and thought, well Naruto, good job. Naruto took the trophy. Wow, this is great, I honestly never thought I'd actually win but now I'm glad I did. Naruto, tell us how you were able to do it, Rin asked. Well, I couldn't have done it without good old Hiraishin. Naruto motioned to his guitar, and the help of those who helped tune him up. Naruto added, making Atsui glad he acknowledged his help while Samui couldn't help but blush. When the place was clearing out, Naruto and his family was walking to the lot. Tenten was running over to them. Naruto, hey. Dad, take my trophy to the car, I'll be right with you. Naruto said, handing his trophy off to his father who took it to the car. Naruto, you were fantastic up there, Tenten said with a smile. Thanks, I did what I could, Naruto said, feeling modest. Well, you know, that trophy was your prize from the school, but I have my own prize for you, Tenten said with a smirk as she cupped the blonde's face and pulled him into a kiss which turned his as red as his mom's hair. When they parted, Tenten asked him, was that enough? Perfect, Naruto said like a drool monkey. Hey there, another voice called as they turned to see Samui approaching. Samui, Naruto called as she approached the two. Naruto, you were really cool up there, Samui admitted. Thanks, he answered and realized he should introduce the girls. Samui, this is Tenten, she goes to school with me here. Tenten, meet Samui, she works at the shop I get my guitar looked at. It's nice to meet you, Samui said, shaking the bun-haired girl's hand. Right back at ya, Tenten replied and thought, whoa, her boobs are bigger than mine. So this is the Tenten girl Naruto mentioned, she looks nice, Samui thought. So girls, my fam and I were going out to celebrate, anybody want to come? Naruto offered. Sure Naruto, I'd love to, Tenten said. Well, Atsui said he was going out anyway so I'm up for him, Samui agreed. Then let's go, Naruto said, taking their hands and dragged them along to his car, unaware of the two girls blushing. Friday afternoon, Naruto was walking to his locker at school to retrieve his stuff. After taking his stuff out of his locker he closes it, revealing Tenten. Hey Naruto. Tenten. What's up? I've got something for you Naruto. The bun-haired girl said, handing him a flyer. My block is having a block party tomorrow night, you should come. There's going to be music, a DJ, food, and dancing. Really? Naruto asked, looking at the flyer. Sounds cool. It is, you should come. Bring Samui too, Tenten offered. I'll see about her, Naruto said. Great, until then. Tenten waved as she hurried off. Naruto looked at the flyer. This may be something I can do to take my mind off school, he said to himself as he walked off, heading for home. Though if I'm going to this I better get myself some better gear and a new haircut as well, he said as he made his way home. He went inside and called, I'm back. Hi Naruto, welcome home, Minato said as he walked over. How was your day? Same old pop, but listen, I got to head to the mall so I'll be back soon. Going to the mall? Well, why didn't you say sooner, we're on our way there too, another voice called. Naruto's ears perked up hearing that voice as he saw standing in the entryways of the kitchen were three other people in their early 20s, composed of two boys and one girl. The first boy who called to Naruto was fair-skinned, had shoulder-length red hair the same shade Kushina's, eyes that had a ripple-like pattern around the pupil, with a light purple iris and sclera. He was a bit withered and was in a wheelchair. His outfit included black sneakers, blue jeans, and a gray shirt with skulls decorated on it, and wore a ring on his middle finger with the kanji for rain on it. His name was Nagato Uzumaki, Naruto's older cousin. The second guy had short orange spiky hair like Naruto's style and had blue eyes. He had 3 piercings sticking out on both sides of the bridge of his nose, and had multiple piercings in his ears as well. His outfit included white sneakers, black pants, a green shirt, and had a ring on one of his fingers that had the kanji for 0. His name was Yahiko. The final one, who was the girl, had blue hair, amber eyes, ultramarine eyeshadow, and a labrae piercing. Her eyelashes are a diagonal line at the bottom corner of her eyes, wears orange nail polish, and wore a large light blue paper flower in her hair. Her outfit includes a blue tube top exposing her midriff which had 4 piercings surrounding her navel, tight-fitting dark jeans, a pair of blue sandals, and like her two friends wore a ring on her finger with the kanji for white. Her name was Konan. These three were once orphans who met at an orphanage until Jiraiya adopted the three like his own children. Jiraiya was especially close to Nagato, who was always considered weak due to his disability, and because he was an Uzumaki, that's how Jiraiya was introduced to Kushina, who he set her up with Minato, who was close friends with him during the time. "Hey Nagato, Konan, Yahiko," Naruto called as he rushed over high-fiving the two guys and hugged Konan. "What are you guys doing here?" "We came to visit Jiraiya, so how are you doing, Naruto?" Yahiko asked. "Yes, how's the new high school working out so far?" Nagato asked. "Doing great, actually things are a lot better there than at my last one," Naruto replied. "Well, congrats," Konan said. "What do you need at the mall, Naruto?" Kushina asked, walking into the room. "I got to get some newer threads, and a haircut cause there's this block party I've been invited to tomorrow night and I kinda want to spice up my look," Naruto explained. "Well, we're heading that way too, let's go together," Nagato suggested. "Thanks, cuz I always know I can count on you." Naruto smiled as the four exited the house and headed for Yahiko's truck. After helping Nagato into his seat, the guys drove off for the mall, where they went to one of the clothing stores. Naruto was looking at some shirts while Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan were checking out some other stuff for him to consider purchasing. "This hoodie looks good," Naruto said, looking at a dark red hoodie decorated with fire symbols. "All right, Naruto, try these on," Yahiko said, handing some clothes to Naruto. About 10 minutes later, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan were waiting outside the changing stalls as Naruto opened up the door to the stall he was in and stepped out wearing a new outfit composed of his regular sneakers, dark brownish-green cargo pants with plenty of pockets, a black shirt that was white on the collar and stripes going down the sleeves across his shoulders and down the front and back of the torso, and covering it was the dark red hoodie with flames designed on it that was unzipped. "Awesome," Yahiko and Nagato clapped. "Very suave," Konan admitted. "Thanks, guys," Naruto said, and soon they paid for his new clothes and exited the shop. "Okay, wardrobe check, now for your hair," Konan said, taking Naruto and pulled him along, heading for one of the hairstylists located in the mall, a place known as Kaide's Hairorama. "Kaide," Konan called to a stylist who was a 30-year-old woman with tan skin, a buxom chest, and brown hair, was sweeping up some hair. "Konan, welcome. I don't remember scheduling an appointment for you," the woman said. "Not for me, Kaide. I was wondering if you had a spot for my friend's cousin here, Naruto," Konan wondered. Kaide got a look at Naruto and studied his hair. I do love a challenge. I'll do it." Konan smiled as Naruto took a seat in front of a mirror as Kaide got straight to work on Naruto's hair. After half an hour of work, Naruto looked in the mirror and saw his hair was done in the same style as Final Fantasy's Cloud Strife. "Whoa," Naruto gasped. "You like it?" Kaide asked. "I love it," Naruto said. "Cloud Strife, eat your heart out." Later, the group was still walking the mall just for the hell of it. "Man, I missed doing this kind of stuff with you guys," Naruto said. "Yeah, remember when we almost got kicked out because Jiraiya was doing skits in the lingerie store?" Yahiko asked, suppressing a chuckle. "Ah, good times," Nagato said. "Says you," Konan replied. Naruto chuckled until he looked ahead, seeing Samui and Atsui. "Be right back," he said, rushing over. "Hey Samui, Atsui." Naruto, the brother and sister, gasped, seeing him. "Glad I ran into you guys. Samui, there's something I need to ask you." "Yes?" she asked. "Tomorrow Tenten's block is having a block party, and she invited you and me to come. If you're not too busy, would you like to?" Naruto offered. Atsui smiled, looking at Samui, who was blushing a bit from the offer. "Well, I'm not doing anything specific tomorrow, so I guess I could come." "Great," Naruto said until Atsui pulled him aside. "I've noticed you've really been getting along great with my sister Naruto." Atsui started. "Well, you are a very trusting guy, but some things can never be helped." He secretly handed Naruto a condom in its package. "Take care of her tomorrow." This, however, didn't go unnoticed by Samui, who was ticked off at what her brother was trying. "Not cool." She smacked her brother on the end, making him fall flat on his face, causing some shoppers to stare before backing away in fear of the girl. So Naruto told her the time and he headed back to join his cousin and his friends. "Who was that?" Nagato asked. "Atsui, the guy who fixes my guitar, and that was his sister Samui. I'm taking her to the block party where Tenten lives," Naruto explained. "You just started high school and already have 2 girls, that's impressive," Yahiko said. "Oh come on Yahiko, we're just friends, at least with Samui I think," Naruto said. "Are Tenten and Samui comfortable with each other?" Konan asked. They should be. When I first introduced them they didn't seem hostile. And they haven't fought over me, so yeah, they're on good terms. Naruto answered.
Good, because you got to be careful when two women like the same guy, it can cause tension between the three. Nagato warned him.
And like I said, Samui doesn't view me as a boyfriend, but if she does she's got some weird way of showing it. Naruto believed. Well, what say we grab a Slurpee before we head back? Yahiko offered.
All right, Naruto, Konan, and Nagato cheered as they left.
When Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato dropped Naruto off back at his place, he collected his bags and went inside. Hi guys, I'm home, he called. Welcome back Naruto. Dinner will be ready shortly, Kushina said from the kitchen. Cool. Naruto said as he took his clothes and put them in his room. Later on, the Namikaze family was sitting down to dinner. Well Naruto, nice hairdo. Minato said. Thanks Pop, just the look I need for the party tomorrow. Now Naruto, I want to make sure while you're at that party you won't smoke or drink, or do anything that could stunt your growth, you know what I mean? Kushina explained. Mom relax, I don't smoke nor do I drink, Naruto replied. A good mother checks, Kushina said, making her son sigh.
Jiraiya then pulled him aside. Listen Naruto, if you spot any good-looking girls there, give me full accurate notes on them.
Naruto frowned and clonked his head. Perverted old man. Ow, when you hit hard. Jiraiya groaned. I'm going to bed, Naruto said as he left the kitchen and returned to his room. When Naruto went back to his room, he plopped onto his bed, looking out the window closest to him at the night sky, seeing the moon was almost full. Nice night, he said to himself. Soon he fell asleep, and the very next morning he woke up stretching. Ah, good old Saturday. And tonight is the night, he cheered, jumping out of bed, getting dressed in his regular clothes.
Time for a workout, he said, going to his basement where a workout area was set up with a treadmill, pull-up bar, a few weights, etc. About 3 hours later, Naruto was already doing pull-ups with the bar. 496, 497, 498, 499, 500. He groaned as he let go of the bar and took a sip of water from a sports bottle. Not sure if I'll be running into anybody today, but I always stay one step ahead, he said, flexing his arms. Time for some grub, he said, going back upstairs, making himself a sandwich. He heard his cell phone beep and he checked, seeing he got a text from Samui. Naruto, I'll meet you at your place around 6 tonight and we'll go together. Naruto smiled. 6 it is, he said to himself. When it reached 4 in the afternoon, Naruto was in the shower cleaning himself up along with shampooing his hair. When he stepped out, he dried himself off and did his hair to its new style he had got from the stylist. He went back to his room and changed into his new clothes he bought at the mall and donned his necklace. Looking good, he said to his reflection in his closet mirror. Soon it was 6 and Naruto heard his doorbell ring, and he ran to the door and opened it to see Samui waiting for him. Samui's outfit for the block party included a black tube top, gray jeans, and brown high boots. Evening Samui. Naruto greeted her. Evening, Samui said. Mom, Dad, I'm going out, be back later, Naruto called inside as he and Samui took off.
Soon they reached the block where the party was happening, and it was just as Tenten told them. It was wild and happening. Tenten was dressed in a dark blue sleeveless blouse, red pants, and sneakers. This party is cool, Tenten, Naruto said. I know, glad you two decided to come, Tenten added.
No problem, beats having to stay around at home while my brother watches reruns while getting stoned, Samui replied, and they chuckled.
As they continued enjoying the party, Naruto saw on the stage that was set up was a microphone and smirked as he jumped onto it and took the mic. Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight? Having a good time? Good. Because tonight I came here to enjoy myself and let loose, and what better way than expressing myself and how I like to celebrate, he called as some of the partygoers cheered. The DJ started the turntable and started playing a song that Naruto could automatically tell what it was just by the music. Oh yeah, this is it, celebration time guys, Naruto called as Tenten rushed to join him on the stage and pulled Samui along with her. As they got on stage with Naruto, they sang and danced with him. This got the partygoers cheering and applause from their performance as the two girls hugged Naruto, making him blush. They got down from the stage and started high-fiving other partygoers like he was declared their savior. Lee and Neji approached. Naruto, your youthful displays were most incredible, Lee declared. It wasn't so bad, Neji admitted. Admitted Neji, you like it, Naruto smirked. What a pathetic display, a voice said, and the whole group gasped as everyone looked, seeing 4 figures approaching them, composed of 3 boys and 1 girl. The first boy, who appeared to have been the leader, wore jeans, a purple hoodie, had white hair in a small ponytail, and wore glasses.
The second boy had spiky dark hair, dark eyes, and his outfit included a beige shirt and gray pants. The third boy had gauze covering most of his face, leaving only his left eye uncovered. His attire included a gray shirt, black pants, and wore metal bracers on his arms. Finally, the lone female of the group had very long black hair, almost reaching down to the ground, tied by a violet ribbon right near the end, and black eyes. Her outfit included a pale green vest and camouflage pants. "Who are you guys?" Naruto asked with a frown. The boy with glasses spoke. "My name's Kabuto Yakushi, and these are my teammates Zaku, Kin, and Dosu." He motioned to the spike-haired boy, the girl, and then the mummy-faced boy. "And we're Sound Squad," Kin added. "What do you want here?" Tenten asked, knowing trouble's going to start. "We've heard from the local fighters that Blondie there's one of the best in the city," Zaku said, motioning to Naruto. "We came here to see if the rumors were true," Dosu added. "By putting you to the test," Kabuto finished, "you and me Naruto one-on-one, here and now." "Now, but it's a party," Naruto complained. "Are you backing out? What a coward," Zaku smirked. "Coward, me?" Naruto asked, taking that insult. "I am no coward." "All right Kabuto, you want to fight? I'll give you a fight." "Perfect." Kabuto smirked. "Stay back and don't do anything." He motioned to his three others who do so as the partygoers gather around as Naruto and Kabuto stood in a drawn-up arena. "I wished it didn't have to come to this as much as I like street fighting," Tenten told Samui and her own friends from her class. "Let's see if the supposed nine-tailed fox is what he claims to be," Kabuto smirked. "You'll be sorry," Naruto warned him. Dosu clapped his metal bracers, making a ringing bell sound signaling them to begin. Naruto and Kabuto raced to each other, throwing punch after punch while dodging until Naruto swung a kick to Kabuto's side but Kabuto caught his leg and tripped Naruto up, who jumped back to his feet before Kabuto could punch him on the ground. "This Kabuto guy's good, this ain't gonna be easy," Naruto thought as he continued fighting until he felt a jab at his left elbow and he groaned. "Ah, what did you do to me?" "I just simply struck a nerve center in your elbow, that's my form of combat," Kabuto explained. "That's it Kabuto," Zaku cheered while Kin smirked along with Dosu beneath his bandages. Naruto groaned and thought, "This is bad, I can't keep letting him touch me like that or my whole body will be paralyzed." "What's the matter, giving up already? I thought you were stronger than that." Kabuto mocked him and Naruto frowned. "This was just a warm-up," Naruto declared as he rushed to Kabuto, throwing a punch, Yoko punch. He got the guy in his right shoulder, making him hold it. "Not bad, you know how to punch," Kabuto groaned. "That's not all," Naruto called as he started spin kicking at Kabuto, who was backing away, avoiding the blows. "That Kabuto is very fast," Lee commented. "Yes, I'm not sure if Naruto can last against someone at his level," Neji added. "Don't say that," Samui scolded him. "She's right, Naruto has to win or else who knows what these guys would do after." Tenten added. Naruto and Kabuto continued fighting as Kabuto was able to land more blows at Naruto's left leg, making him lose balance, and his right wrist. With those nerve points struck, Kabuto swatted him aside and he rolled on the ground. "Stay down like the defeated dog you are, Naruto," Tenten and Samui cried. Naruto was on the ground panting. "Damn, he struck so many nerves, I don't think I can win." "Naruto," an old man's voice called. Naruto gasped and he saw floating above him was the spirit of an old man who had white hair in a ponytail and a long thin beard, Kimo-sensei. "You must relax yourself Naruto, remember what I taught you. Relaxation is the key to victory," the old man's spirit said. Relaxation, he's right, Naruto thought as he relaxed himself, and the nerve points Kabuto struck him started getting relaxed and unparalyzed. When he was back to normal, he shot up, seeing Kabuto walking away. "Hold it," he called, getting their attention as Kabuto turned back. "You get back here, you bastard, this fight isn't over yet," Naruto said, making it to his feet. "Don't you ever give up," Kabuto sighed. "That's one lesson I always slept in on," Naruto joked. "Funny guy," Kabuto said. "So I've been told," Naruto replied as he once again fought Kabuto in punches and kicks faster than before, and Kabuto was barely keeping up with him, which was making his three partners nervous. Kabuto thought, "This kid, he's gotten better, I underestimated him," he thought as he tried blocking the blows but grew tired and soon started taking the blows head on, which was becoming too much for him to take. "Yoko kick," Naruto called, swinging his leg and kicked Kabuto to the side as he rolled across the ground, landing on his back. "That's game," Naruto declared. "What are you?" Kabuto asked, thinking he wasn't human. Naruto smirked. "I'm Naruto Namikaze, the nine-tailed fox. Kabuto three partners jumped in ready for round 2 until Kabuto called, "No, it's over guys. We've come for what we wanted, I lost," Kabuto said. "Kabuto." They gasped. "Let's just go," Kabuto said as Dosu and Zaku helped him up and he looked at Naruto. "You're a worthy opponent Naruto, but guarantee you'll end up fighting others even stronger than I am." "I'll be ready for them," Naruto assured the guy. Kabuto smirked. "You better be," he said as the sound squad left. Naruto took some breaths as he turned, seeing all the partygoers had shocked expressions on their faces after what just happened. It was quiet for a minute until they burst out cheering for Naruto's performance and proceeded to toss him up in the air cheering. Samui and Tenten smiled seeing what he just accomplished. "I'm so proud of him," Tenten said. "So am I," Samui agreed. Meanwhile, unknown to anyone watching around the corner was another by wearing a red hoodie with the hood part up shielding his facial appearance. All but a few bits of red hair could be seen. "Interesting," he said before running off. Later that night around 10, Naruto, Tenten, and Samui were sneaking into the school's outdoor swimming pool. "Are you sure this is right, Tenten?" Samui asked. "Yeah, I mean sneaking out of school was one thing, but sneaking into it is another," Naruto added. "Don't worry guys, just come on," Tenten said as they climbed the fence and got inside, "and keep it down, we don't want unwanted attention." As Naruto got over the gates, still having his back turned, he could hear the sounds of undressing which was making him blush. "Naruto," Tenten said. Naruto slowly turned around seeing Tenten standing with their right sides facing them, revealing them to be bare while they covered their chests with their arms, which was harder for Samui to do since she had a bigger bust than Tenten. Tenten smiled along with Samui, who had a small blush before the two ran to the pool and jumped in, resulting in 2 splashes. Naruto panted and blushed. "Damn, this is my lucky night," he thought to himself. "Naruto, you coming in or what?" Tenten asked as she and Samui relaxed by the pool's edge. "Right behind ya," Naruto called as he threw off his gear, leaving him in the buff as well before diving in and emerged from the water, shaking his head back and forth, sending bits of water from his sides. The two girls giggled at Naruto as he noticed their breasts were practically floating above the water for his eyes to see, but he made sure not to look downward that far. "Well, come on over here, Naruto," Tenten invited him as he swam over to the edge with the girls, as Tenten was on his right side and Samui was on his left side as they laid their heads on his shoulders. "This feels good," he thought as they look up at the night sky, seeing it filled with stars and a bright glowing moon. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" he asked the girls. "It's lovely," Tenten agreed. "Sure is," Samui added. They continued looking up at the moon until Tenten started to humming to herself, surprising Naruto and Samui. Samui, liking the tune, started humming with her. Naruto smiled, holding the two close as he hummed along with them. The three continued looking up at the beautiful night sky as a shooting star flies across the sky, leaving them feeling nostalgic. They smiled as they finished humming as Tenten and Samui cuddled closer with Naruto as he could suddenly feel his arms held in between each of their breasts, and he blushed, but turned as red as ever when he heard what they said next. "We love you, Naruto," they said. Naruto gasped at this, realizing they both do love him, even Samui. This brought a smile on his face as he kept them close to his sides. "I love you girls too," he said as they continued sitting in the water. That night, as Naruto, Tenten, and Samui were still relaxing in the school's pool, finally decided to get out, dry off, and get change. "This was a fun night," Naruto said. "A cool night," Samui smiled. "We should do it again sometime," Tenten smiled. The other two nodded as they hurried and left the school before anyone could find them, and headed for home. It was already 10 at night as Naruto was walking his way home, thinking of Tenten and Samui and how they both confessed to him. "Two girls, I've really been blessed," he chuckled to himself as he made it home. He went inside where his parents were watching sitcoms. "Naruto, you're back, how was the party?" Minato asked. "Jumping," Naruto replied with a chuckle. Kushina looked at him and saw he looked damp. "You got wet, what happened there?" Naruto knew he couldn't mention his time with the girls at the pool, so he lied. "There were water guns there, I got caught in between 2 of them." "Well, just remember to hang them to dry," Kushina motioned to his clothes. "Will do, Mom," Naruto assured her as he started walking until Jiraiya popped up. "So Naruto, how were the ladies there, any good-looking ones?" Jiraiya snickered and grinned. "I'm going to bed," was all Naruto said as he went for his room, closing his door. As he got in, he threw off his jacket onto his rotating desk chair and threw his shirt into a hamper, before plopping onto his bed. This was a great night. The next morning Naruto was waking up and stretched. "Boy, I slept like a log." He jumped out of bed, took a shower, and got changed. After having breakfast he decided to go out for some fresh air. He was walking around the city enjoying the scenery and nice weather until he heard someone call to him, "Hey Naruto." Sasuke called as he caught up with him. "Hey Sasuke, how's it going?" Naruto asked. "What's going on? I'm the one who should be asking you." Sasuke started, "How was last night?" Naruto looked around and saw there were too many people around for him to talk about something private. "Let's go someplace else," Naruto said. Soon enough the two were outside a 7-Eleven having a Slurpee. "Oh my Kami, you actually snuck in?" Sasuke chuckled. "Crazy isn't it?" Naruto asked. "Crazy doesn't even come half as close as to describing it, especially coming from you," Sasuke replied. "Well, that's what happened," Naruto replied, "and listen, you can't tell any of the guys in class, not even Sakura. If you tell her then she'll tell Ino, and then the story will spread like herpes and then my parents will find out, and you get the picture." "Don't worry, I won't tell. This is something even I can keep," Sasuke assured him. "Thanks man." They pounded fists. "So you got two girls as of now?" Sasuke asked. "That's what it is," Naruto answered. "How do you feel about them?" "Well, Tenten and I love street fighting. She admires my strength as do I to her. Samui's the sister of the guy the first loved to talk music with, and I got to say I find myself drawn to her calm, cool and collect personality. Seems like you got winners." "Damn right." Naruto nodded. Naruto heard his cell phone ring and he checked his text, seeing it was from Samui. "Naruto, could you meet me at the shop? I want to talk." He read the text in thought. "Naruto?" Sasuke asked. "Sorry Sasuke, but I got to go. See you in school," Naruto said, running off. Naruto found himself at Matsui's shop and saw the closed sign was up, but Samui, who was inside, saw him and opened the door, letting him in. "Hey Samui, what's going on?" "Well, I just wanted to see you, and I figured this would be the best place since we'll have privacy since the store's closed on Sundays," Samui answered. "So what did you call me over for?" Naruto asked as he took a seat on the counter. "Well, I had nothing going on today, so I figured I'd call you and see what you were up to." "In other words, you missed me since last night," Naruto smirked. "A little," Samui said, blushing while trying not to make eye contact until she felt Naruto's arm wrap around her. "Hey, it's okay. I'm glad you think so much of me, because actually I think a lot about you too," Naruto said. "You do?" Samui asked. "You bet?" Naruto smiled. Samui smiled back. "Thank you. You know, I was kind of nervous about asking you this, but now I have confidence to do it." "Ask me what?" Naruto asked. Samui took his hand and dragged him into the door behind the counter where the workshop was. "Samui, why'd you bring me in here, and why are you locking the door?" "Naruto, I can't hide it anymore. The truth is, ever since last night I've felt this sensation when I'm around you and I want you badly," Samui admitted. Naruto was shocked and thought, wow, this was unexpected. And he saw Samui started removing her clothes, and this is going further. He spoke, "Samui." Samui stood there in black lingerie, and Naruto could notice her assets looked bigger than they did when they were covered up. "I know this is taking it very fast, Naruto, but I can't help myself. As excited as I am, I don't worry, I took birth control. So how about it? Want to have some fun with a cool chick?" she asked with a smirk. "Oh, take off that brassiere, my dear," Naruto quoted Barry White. "Okay," Samui said as she unclipped her bra and it fell down, exposing her large knockers to him. "Oh damn," Naruto panted. Even though last night he saw her and Tenten in the buff, it was still too dark outside for him to truly enjoy it. "Sexy enough for you, Naruto?" Samui asked as she shook her breasts, making them bounce, which gave Naruto an automatic erection. "Woman, you know it," Naruto answered. Samui, having nothing left to say, embraced Naruto in a make-out while removing his clothes without breaking lip contact, and in a matter of minutes the two teens were naked and making out on the floor of the workshop. Within an hour Naruto and Samui were dressed again. "Wow, that was amazing," Naruto gasped. "So that was your first time?" Samui asked. "Is that surprising?" "Sort of. I just figured you would have done this with Tenten by now." "I'd wish. Unfortunately we haven't had such an opportune moment," Naruto admitted. "Do you feel happy that I was your first instead?" Samui asked. "It wouldn't have mattered to me if it was either of you. I love both you and Tenten equally. The fact you were able to do this with me before Tenten could meant you were a step ahead," Naruto explained. "Like in street fights, one must be one step ahead of the other." Samui smiled, admitting to his words, followed by taking his right hand and puts it on her right breast. "Feel free to touch me here anytime, at least when we're not in public." Naruto and Samui laughed at this and knew this was going to be the start of a beautiful relationship, and the same will also be said for Tenten when she finally decides to make a move. The next day after school, Naruto was inside a room with a sign on it reading, Karaoke Club. After the karaoke he pulled at the coffee shop, and his performance in the talent show Lee and Tenten encouraged him to join the club, and taking their advice he did so. He was currently performing for other members. The group of students applauded at his performance as Naruto nodded and bowed before walking off stage and left the room. "Well, I'm out of here." He walked off until he felt a pair of arms drape over him. "Going somewhere, little fox?" a familiar female voice asked. "Well, I was. You want to join me, Tenten? Lead the way." Tenten giggled as the two walked off, leaving the school. That night, over at an apartment inside a dark room that was only brightened by the light of a computer screen, was the red-haired boy who observed the fight between Naruto and Kabuto. He was sitting at his computer in a chat room composed of 9 others whose images were that of tailed demons. The redhead's screen name was known as Shukaku, while the others were known as Nibi, Sanbi, Yanbi, Gobi, Rokubi, Shichibi, and Hachibi. Chatroom: Nibi. You mean to say Shukaku, this boy who calls himself the 9-tailed fox, took out Sound Squad's leader Kabuto? Shukaku: exactly what I said. Gobi: he must have been a lucky one, there's no way Kabuto would have gone down that easily. Hachibi: this 9-tailed must have been a playa to take down Kabuto, the Hada fool, ya fool. Sanbi: you give a rookie too much credit. Hachibi: Rokubi: yes, beginners always get luck. Shichibi: I say we find him and see if he's truly worth as Shukaku says he is. Suddenly a new member popped up, being identified as Jubi. One day at the end of school, Naruto was exiting the building until a male student called to him, "Hey Naruto." What up?" the blonde asked. "Who's coming from your family tomorrow?" "Coming from my family tomorrow?" Naruto asked until he suddenly remembered what was talked about in class today. Flashback: in Kakashi's class, the teacher called to the students, "All right, listen up class, tomorrow is Parents' Day and I want you all to do your best and show your parents that you're learning something in school and whatnot," Kakashi said in his bored demeanor. "Hi," the students agreed. End flashback. I haven't thought about it yet," Naruto answered as he grabbed his board and headed home. Soon that night at the family dinner table, Naruto was eating with his parents and godfather, until Naruto spoke up, "Hey mom, dad, are you two doing anything specifically tomorrow?" "Why, Naruto, is something up?" Minato asked. "Well, you see, tomorrow's Parents' Day and I was curious if you two had the time to come." Naruto wondered. "But of course honey, I've been dying to see what your new school is like," Kushina replied eagerly. "Well, I don't have meetings for tomorrow and such, so I can take the day off and come as well," Minato added. "Really guys?" Naruto asked. "You're our son, Naruto. What kind of parents would we be if we didn't come for support?" Minato said. "That, and you're saying that because Kushina would make you take the day off regardless," Jiraiya joked. "Jiraiya." Minato cringed that his oldest friend's making it look like he's whipped. "Oh, this is why I love our family dinner." Jiraiya chuckled as Naruto slightly laughed. "Well, when you two come tomorrow, please don't do anything that could embarrass me." Kushina at the moment pulled her son into a headlock and pinched his cheek. "Now why would I want to embarrass my little Naruto?" "This qualifies as embarrassment." Naruto cried in pain before his mom let him go. "Geez." He rubbed his face. "I'm just kidding, Naruto, we promise not to do anything stupid," Kushina assured him. "That's all I ask," Naruto said. The very next morning Naruto woke up and got ready, noticing his parents were doing the very same. Soon he was in his school uniform and was ready to grab his skateboard until his father stopped him. "Hold on there, son, if it's Parents' Day today then we're going as a family." "It's only right, Naruto," Kushina agreed with her husband. "All right then," Naruto decided as he left his board, and they went outside and got in the car that was driven to the school and parked in the lot. They got out and noticed numerous adults were joining up, with several students following them inside the school. "Well, come on, homeroom will start soon," Naruto said as he led the way into the school to the first room. Upon entering the room he saw his usual friends with adults surrounding them until he spotted Sasuke, who had someone next to him. A man in his early 20s who had dark gray eyes, black hair slightly duller with a softer flow to it unlike Sasuke's that hung near his cheeks to frame his face and kept the rest of it in a ponytail in the back of his hair, and had long pronounced tear troughs under his eyes. You'd almost think he was an older version of Sasuke. His outfit included a necklace with 3 metal rings on it around his neck, a black shirt covered by a blue unbuttoned short-sleeved shirt, jeans, and sneakers. He was Itachi Uchiha, Sasuke's older brother. "Hey Sasuke, Itachi," Naruto called, going over to the brothers. Well, Naruto, I learned from Sasuke you started attending here, but I hadn't taken into account how much bigger you got, Itachi said. Well, thank you, you don't look so bad yourself for a college student, Naruto added. Hey there, don't overlook us, Minato said as he and Kushina approached. Sasuke and Itachi, the Uchiha brothers, you boys are looking more handsome than ever, Kushina said with a smile. Oh, Mrs. Namikaze, please, Itachi said with a blush. Minato then turned, seeing Kakashi walk in. Hey Kakashi, look at you. Oh Minato, it's good to see you again, Kakashi said. How's the teaching life working out for you? Minato asked, the kids listening to you. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no, Kakashi answered. Well, you just do your job, Minato said. Kakashi then called the students' attention. All right class, on behalf of Konoha High I welcome the parents here to the classroom. Now then, let's begin today's lesson. During the lesson, most of the students had to act like well-behaved students or face the wrath of their parents at the end of the day. Naruto peered around the room, seeing Shikamaru's parents, and saw his mother was glaring daggers at her son to make sure he didn't fall asleep, while his father supported her as a sign he was wrapped around his wife's finger. Dang, Shikamaru's got it rough having parents like these. Glad my mom's not that naggy. Naruto thought to himself. Kiba and Hinata have their moms. Whoa, Hinata's pop sure looks like the stern type. Choji and Ino have their fathers. Those must be Sakura's parents. Whoa, her mom's a pinkhead too. And I thought it was hair dye with Sakura. He chuckled in his thoughts. Soon Kakashi's class ended and Naruto took his parents to the gym where him and the rest of his class suited up in their PE uniforms, ready for another day of sweat. Naruto and the boys were on their side with their fathers while the girls were on the other side with the mothers. Tenten saw Naruto and turned to her mother, who also had buns in her hair covered by bun caps and had pigtails coming down from them. See mom, that's Naruto, the boy I told you about. Her mother looked over, seeing Naruto doing jumping jacks with the other boys. Ooh, isn't he a fine piece of work? Tenten, you found yourself a lucky one. Excuse me, Kushina said, butting in. Sorry to intrude, but if there's any talk about my son going on, I want to be a part of it. Son, you're Naruto's mother? Tenten gasped, finally being able to see her since she wasn't able to at the talent show. That's right, Kushina Uzumaki, Namikaze. The redhead introduced herself. Well, it's nice to meet you, my name's Tenten, and this is my mother Asuka. Tenten introduced her mother. Very nice to meet you, Kushina, Asuka said. Likewise, Kushina replied, feeling the same way. Soon enough, after a few exercises, the men and women were on the volleyball court facing each other. All right, my youthful comrades, let us show the ladies our flames of youth burn brighter than theirs, Lee ordered. Naruto and Sasuke sighed, turning Minato and Itachi. You see what I have to put up with? They asked together, provoking laughs out of the two. Soon the game was off to the start and everyone was giving their all and switching off, and soon it was tied 8-8 and everyone looked ready to take the finishing blow. Watch and learn, girls, Asuka said as she volleyed the ball over the net, but gasped as Minato approached, leaping upward and spiked it, scoring the men's side a point. Whoa, the boys gasped. Naruto, your dad's amazing, Choji said. Thanks, they called him the Yellow Flash in high school because of his quick nature, Naruto explained as he watched his dad being congratulated by the fathers of other students. This game isn't over yet, Minato, Kushina called as she served, and Itachi went and volleyed it back to the women's side until Kushina hurried and jumped to spike it. Taste this from the hot-blooded habanero, she called, spiking it, but Naruto dove for it and volleyed it back up, and Sasuke finished it before time ran out and the men won. Oh yeah, we're bad, Naruto said, doing a jig. Well ladies, that was quite a match, Kushina said to the ladies, who nodded. I love the way your son and your husband played, they're good, Asuka said. Yup, those are my boys. Kushina smiled, watching as Naruto and Sasuke were congratulated on a great job. After gym, they were all in the cafeteria having lunch. Boy, glad this cafeteria doesn't serve the stereotypical slop, Minato joked, and Kushina laughed. I hear ya, Choji's father Shuza said. When we were in high school, Shuza would eat just about anything, Shikamaru's father Shikaku added. Hey, you guys mind if we join you? Tenten asked as her mother and her father approached. Not at all, Naruto answered, and the three sat down. Naruto, I'd like you to meet my mother Asuka, and my father Zane, Tenten introduced them. So you're the Naruto our daughter's been talking about, Asuka said. You got quite a strong serve during that volleyball game, Naruto, Zane said, having been there with the other fathers. Thanks, sir, Naruto said. So you must be Naruto's little sweetheart, Minato said, looking at Tenten, ignoring the glare his son is giving him. That's right, I can see where Naruto gets his good looks from. Tenten replied, seeing the uncanny resemblance between Naruto and his father. Well, I see where you get your beauty from, Minato said, noticing the mother until Kushina elbowed his shoulder, shutting him up. Well, Naruto, you seem to be a responsible and honest young man. Zane inspected, so you have our permission to see our daughter, but do anything to hurt her and there will be hell to pay, are we clear? He asked in a serious tone. Crystal. Naruto replied, trying not to show an ounce of fear. Dad. Tenten bonked her father's head, don't scare him. Sorry, sweetie. Zane chuckled. As time went on, the parents continued supervising the classrooms of their children, and upon 8th period in the theater room with Rin as the teacher. All right class, today we're going to reenact Shakespeare's classic scene from Romeo and Juliet. Any volunteers? Rin asked the studnets, and most of the boys were looking to pass until Minato stood up. How about me and my wife take a shot, Rin? After all, these kids should watch how a real couple works with this particular scene. Sure, Minato. Rin allowed as Minato and his wife took positions with Kushina standing on top of the stage, making her higher up as Minato was below her, and started. But, soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Minato started as he continued Romeo's lines until Kushina took her lines. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Kushina acted out her part. Some of the boys were entranced by Kushina's acting as Juliet, while some of the girls were salivating over Minato's charm. Naruto, your parents are incredible, Sakura said. I know, your mother's not just beautiful but talented, Ino added. And your father is so caring in his tone, Hinata noticed. That's my parents for ya. Naruto smiled, feeling proud that they're his parents and that he's their son. When classes ended, Naruto took his parent to the karaoke club room, where he showed them around the room and introducing them to several other students from the other classes that were there. So what did you guys think of school? Naruto asked his parents. Well, Naruto, you sure have been fitting in well here than at your last school, and here we were worried about you, Minato said. Well, you can stop worrying now because you've seen it up close. I like it here, Naruto said as he kicked back on the touch set up in the karaoke club's room. In that case, how about your mother and I try something we wanted to when we were in high school? Minato said as he and Kushina went to the karaoke machine and searched the song selections and found one. Minato spoke into the mic. Hello, how's everybody doing? In honor of Parents' Day, my darling wife and I would love to partake in this after-school activity with a song we picked out. The music started playing as Minato and Kushina sang a duet together. Naruto smiled, watching his parents enjoy themselves, and noticed his fellow karaoke club members were intrigued as well. When they finished, the whole club applauding for their performance, and Naruto knew that his parents fit right in with the high school crowd, for parents at least. One night out in the city, Choji and Shikamaru were walking out of a movie theater. Man, that was a cool movie, Choji said. It was decent to say the least, Shikamaru replied in his bored tone. Come on, Shikamaru, you know it totally rocked, Choji said as the two were passing by an alley, unaware of a figure standing in the shadows. Hey, you two. The duo froze and nervously turned to see a figure in the shadows of the alley. Us? Choji asked. Yes. The figure replied. Do you know Naruto Namikaze? Yeah. What's it to you? Shikamaru asked. I want you two to deliver a message to him personally. The figure started as he approached them, but before I give it to you, I feel like a little exercise. He finished as it goes black and cuts to the next morning in school, where class was soon to begin. Naruto and the students noticed Choji and Shikamaru walked in with bruises on their faces and a few bandage patches on their arms. This shocked the class as Ino spoke. Shikamaru, Choji, what happened to you guys? We ran into trouble last night, Shikamaru said as he and his big pal took their seats, and the lazy guy whispered to Naruto, we need to talk at lunch. Naruto, hearing this, looked concerned at his friend's words and knew he had to listen. When lunch hour came, Naruto sat down with Shikamaru and Choji. All right guys, what's up? Naruto, last night we ran into a street fighter who asked for you personally, Choji explained. A street fighter? Did you get a good look at him? Naruto asked. All we saw was he had a tattoo on his forehead of the kanji for love, Shikamaru explained as he reached into his pocket, pulling out a slip of paper and passed it to Naruto. He asked us to give you that before he went postal on us. Shikamaru groaned, still feeling a bit of pain. Naruto took the paper, unfolded it, and saw a message and read it in his thoughts as the voice of the fighter form the night voiced over, Naruto Namikaze. The word of your reputation in the street fighting underworld is well known. However, me and my associates remain unconvinced of your reputation and desire a chance to see what you can do up close. You will meet me at the old basketball court on Karuhi Boulevard this Saturday night. If you refuse to show, I can guarantee more of your friends will be done worse than the one who delivers this to you. Kindest regards, Shukaku. Shukaku. Naruto thought. Naruto, if I were you I would pass on this, that guy is dangerous. Shikamaru warned him. He's right, Naruto, even though you're strong, you wouldn't last against him. Choji added. I can't overlook this, you guys. Naruto answered, if I back out not only will my reputation go down the drain but chances are more of my closest friends will get hurt worse than you guys. I have to do this. All right, but don't expect me to give your eulogy, Shikamaru said. There won't be any need for one, Naruto answered. At the end of school, Naruto was heading off until Sasuke ran up to him. Naruto. Hey Sasuke, what's up? I heard from Shikamaru and Choji, you're taking on the one who totaled them Saturday. I have to. Sasuke, if he wants a fight I'll bring him one, Naruto answered. Do you even have any idea what you're up against? The raven-haired boy asked. No, but it's not the first time I've gone into street fighting blind, Naruto reminded him. Is this all worth it? Sasuke asked. I never backed down from a challenge and I'm not about to. Naruto said, sorry but I have only 2 days to prepare. Naruto said as he walked on ahead heading for home as his best friend watched him leave worried for his well-being. So for the next 2 days Naruto was working out and practicing his fighting moves like he never had. He knew if this guy could do such damage to Choji and Shikamaru he had to be prepared for anything. And finally on Saturday it was growing to nightfall and he grabbed his board heading for the door. I'm going out, be back later, Naruto called to his folks. Another one of your spars? Minato asked. Something like that. Naruto replied, not wanting to say it was going to probably be a fight that could get ugly. Soon Naruto was boarding off to the location of where his opponent Shukaku suggested. He arrived at the basketball court seeing it looked deserted. Not that I was expecting a welcoming committee, but this just feels embarrassing. I've been waiting for you to show up, Naruto Namikaze. A voice said, catching the blonde's attention as he turned seeing someone walk out of the shadows. He wore sneakers, jeans, and a red hoodie with the hood up. I was beginning to think you weren't going to show. Are you the one known as Shukaku? Naruto firmed his eyes to his opponent. I am. He answered as he removed his hood revealing he had green eyes, short red hair, no eyebrows, big black circles around his eyes, and exactly what Shikamaru and Choji said, a kanji of love tattooed on his forehead, but please call me Gaara. Gaara. Naruto gasped, you're the one who made mincemeat out of Choji and Shikamaru. That's right, I had to make sure you were motivated into coming, but it looks like you're not the only one who's showed up. Gaara said, which confused Naruto. Naruto looked around and finally coming out was a lot of teens, some he recognized as other fighters, and especially guys from school such as Sasuke, Choji, Ino, Hinata, Shikamaru, Lee, Neji, Sakura, and Ino. Watching from building rooftops were mostly street fighters including Tenten, who was eager to see the match. I can't wait to see that guy get thrashed by the psycho Gaara, a street fighter said to another. I hope that blonde's got a death wish, the other replied. Back on the arena, Naruto looked to his friends. What are you guys doing here? We're here to support you, of course, idiot. Sasuke answered like his friend asked a stupid question. I personally wanted to stay far away from this, but Ino dragged me here, Shikamaru groaned. Well, just stay back, I don't want anyone here getting hurt. Naruto warned them as he looked at Gaara. Alright Gaara, I'm here, we gonna fight or stand around all day? I thought you'd never ask. Gaara said as he stepped onto the court followed by Naruto. As they took their positions, the match was underway as Naruto rushed forward delivering a punch that was blocked by Gaara's palm. Too slow. Gaara said, delivering a spin kick to Naruto, who ducked and jumped backward, getting back into a stance. That was only a warm-up. Naruto replied, now it's on. He and Gaara launch into their fight, delivering punch after kick with a few dodges until Gaara smirked as he kneed Naruto into the gut, earning groans out of the audience and strains out of Naruto. What the hell? Gaara replied by delivering a spin kick to the face. You fight dirty. Where's your honor in respecting your opponent? Naruto screamed. Gaara didn't even flinch at Naruto's exclaim, answered. Honor? In this world of fighting there is no room for honor. All it does is hold you back, it's either win it or down it. Gaara said as he continued his assault on Naruto, throwing punch after punch and kick after kick. Naruto. Sasuke and his friends shouted as they watched their friend continue getting thrashed. Tenten watched from above looking horrified. Naruto, hang in there, she thought. Man, he's toast now. One street fighter told another, who agreed with him. Naruto, who was getting covered in bruises from taking so many hits, was lying on the court looking ready to pass out as Gaara stood above him. Now you will help me prove my existence. Gaara said, ready to deliver a punch to Naruto's heart until Naruto used both hands catching his arm as he glared at Gaara with rage in his eyes. I ain't helping you prove anything for shit. Naruto screamed as he raised his foot, getting Gaara in the crotch, making the redhead's eyes bulge and the observers groan, knowing that hurt. Naruto, taking advantage, got back up and spun-kicked Gaara in the head, knocking him off balance as he tacked him in the gut into the wall. Whoa! Sasuke gasped, I've never seen him like this before. It's scary. Hinata said, worried. Naruto picked Gaara up by the collar and threw him back onto the court. Gaara got up only to get knocked down again by Naruto, who was starting to fight just as rough as Gaara was. Gaara then found himself restrained by Naruto, who was behind him, trying to pull his arms behind his back a little too much, causing the redhead to scream in pain. Naruto, stop it or you'll kill him. Sasuke shouted as Naruto suddenly had Gaara in a chokehold, strangling him, looking ready to finish him, until he got a flashback to when he was talking with his sensei. Flashback: Naruto was kneeling before his sensei Kimo, who was giving him a lecture. Remember, Naruto, in the world of combat there are those with honor, and those without honor. Honor? He asked. Yes, honor is what separates man from beast, it's what holds order to all opponents. For if one does not fight with honor or have respect for their opponent, then they're just beasts who are destined to one day fall and no one will help them, Kimo explained. Wow. Naruto gasped at his words. I want you to promise me, Naruto, should you ever use all you've ever been taught by me in self-defense of spars with others, to fight with honor and respect for your opponent, because that is the sign of a master. I promise, sensei. Naruto replied, pounding his chest. End flashback. Naruto snapped out of it and saw what was going on. What am I doing? This isn't me at all. He thought, until he dropped Gaara as he fell on the court and looked up at Naruto. What are you going to do to me? Gaara asked in fright for the first time. Naruto looked at him as everyone was waiting to hear his answer. Nothing, he answered, which got his opponent confused. What? Gaara asked. I'm not going to do anything to you, Naruto answered. I don't understand. The redhead said. If I break my promise to fight with honor, I'm no different than you. Naruto said. I guess that's what separates us. What is it that makes you this strong? Gaara asked. Naruto smiled. I fight for honor, and for those I care about. They're special to me. Special people? Gaara thought. Perhaps this is something I was never taught. Gaara spoke. Naruto offered him a hand. Maybe I can help you with that? Gaara looked at the offered hand, finally for the first time smiled with feeling as he took it, and Naruto helped him back to his feet. Everyone watching was unsure of what just happened, but even they could tell who came out victor of this one, especially after Gaara turned to the audience. I have lost. Naruto Namikaze is the victor. The crowds cheered and applauded until they saw a figure step out from hiding. He had long, dark, spiky hair flowing backwards, dark eyes, a gray cloak with a high open collar, a necklace with 6 red magatama around his neck, a headband around his forehead that made his head look like it had horns. He walked out clapping. Impressive, very impressive. The rumors said you were good, but their description doesn't do you justice, he said, looking at Naruto. Who are you? Naruto asked. My name is Kami, though in the street fighting underworld I go by 2 names. One is Rakudu Sennin, but my most common title is Jubi, the figure spoke. Jubi? Naruto asked. Yes, I am the leader of a group modeled after the tailed beasts. Gaara aka Shukaku is one of them. So this is one of your associates, Naruto said to Gaara. It's not just him. Another voice said as 7 more figures shrouded in gray cloaks with their hoods up appear. We are the rest of the tailed beasts, the strongest street fighting team there is in the city, another member said. Naruto examined and noticed there were 8 combined with Gaara, making 9. Just you 9? We originally had 10, but our previous Kyuubi member met an unfortunate accident and is now history, one with a female voice said. When we heard of another calling himself 9-tailed fox, we had to make sure it wasn't just some arrogant punk, one of them added. Then we had Gaara test your skill to see if you were truly worth as you say you are, Kami said. And? Naruto asked for the results. You got guts, kid. No one's ever been able to take down Gaara without getting sent to the hospital. Kami answered, making Naruto smirk until he continued. However, compared to the rest of us, you're still just a novice. Naruto grew a tick mark and growled, oh, I'll show ya how tough I am. He ran right for Kami, who wasn't even moving. As Naruto was right on top of him throwing a punch, Kami grabbed his arm and threw him to the wall that was behind him. Okay, that was stupid. Naruto groaned as Sasuke and Lee helped him up. You have spunk, but spunk alone isn't enough to make it to the top. Kami continued. We were hoping to ask you to join our group and become our Kyuubi, However, since you're still not in our league, we can't permit you to join just yet. What do I have to do? Naruto asked curiously. You must defeat us, all of us. Kami answered, moitoning to the other 7. Only then you may have what it takes to join us. If not, then you're not ready for the big leagues. We must go, but guarantee you haven't seen the last of any of us. Gaara, come. Gaara turned to Naruto. I want to thank you for all you've taught me, Naruto. Think nothing of it. Naruto said as the two pounded it and Gaara left to join the other tailed beasts. As the street fighting audience was leaving and Naruto caught a glimpse of Tenten, who winked at him, making him blush. Naruto. Sasuke called as he and the other surrounded him. That was wicked. My dear friend, you've proven that honor will always triumph. Lee added. It was quite a show. Neji admitted. That was awesome. Hinata added as Sakura and Ino nodded. Thanks guys. Naruto said and groaned, still feeling the effects from all the attacks he took. You okay? Do you need a doctor? Choji asked. Don't worry, it's temporary, but right now I gotta get home. Naruto said as he grabbed his board and rolled off, feeling glad he hadn't enough energy to skateboard at all. When he reached home, he was getting his face pulled by his mother while Minato and Jiraiya were cowering, fearing her wrath. Are you crazy in the head to accept a challenge with someone so dangerous, you little juvenile son of mine? Kushina shouted to her son. Mom, please, I'm in enough pain. Naruto groaned until she eased up and pulled her son into a big hug. Please don't scare me like that again. Naruto saw his mom was really worried about him, knew she didn't intend on being rough with him, and hugged her back. I'm sorry, Mom. Kushina sniffled. I know it's your ambition to be the best fighter, but please be careful out there. I will, Mom, I've always been. Naruto replied as his mom released him as Minato and Jiraiya patted his shoulders. What matters is you made it home in one piece, Minato said. Yeah kid, better than coming home in a body cast, Jiraiya added. Har har. Naruto laughed sarcastically. Listen, it's been a long night, I think I'll catch me some Z's. Naruto continued as he went to his room. Without even turning on his light, he pulled his shirt off and threw it into his hamper as he laid on the side of his bed thinking, the tailed beasts. The best team there is. Suddenly a stench caught Naruto's nose and he thought, is that perfume? He then rolled over, looking to the side of his bed closest to the wall, and what he saw was Tenten lying on his bed smiling at him while she was in the buff with the covers reaching her waist and her hair was out of its twin buns and flowed down her back. Naruto continued staring for a minute until a drop of blood leaked out of his nose before he burst out screaming, forcing him to quickly lock his door as Kushina called from outside. Naruto, are you alright? What was with that scream? It's nothing, Mom, I just thought I saw Mouse, but it was just my sock. Naruto called, not wanting her to come in and see one of his female friends in the buff and in his bed, which would only lead to a lot of. Well, evening Naruto, how's it going? Tenten asked as she sat up with the blankets wrapped around her but still kept her cleavage exposed just for Naruto. Tenten, how'd you get in here and why are you in my bed? Naruto asked, more like how'd you get in here and why are you naked in my bed? Your window was unlocked, and I just wanted to surprise you, of course, Tenten explained. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty surprised, all right, Naruto replied, trying to regain his composure, having not been prepared to see the girl he has the hots for in his bed naked. Really? Tenten asked seductively as her breasts jiggled. So do you feel better now? Of course, I mean I'm always glad to see you. Naruto replied and was confused as he saw her step off his bed and drop the blanket, revealing her naked form to him, which aroused him to no end. Naruto, I know why you feel sad, Tenten said, sensing his emotions. Want me to tell you why you're not as happy as you want to be after defeating Gaara? Naruto sighed. No, actually I kinda already know. He explained. I'm really happy I defeated Gaara and avenged Shikamaru and Choji, not to mention defeating a member of the tailed beasts, but during that fight where Gaara started fighting me dirty and claimed that there was no room for honor in street fights made me almost forget who I was, and I almost broke my promise to my master. I'd rather give up street fighting for life than fight without honor. Tenten smiled as she put her hand on his back. Don't feel too down, after all it's a good thing you remembered. After all, those who fight with honor are destined for greatness. There are many street fighters in Japan, all looking to reach the top, and they'll use whatever means they can in their fights, even if it's dirty. It's up to you to face those challenges head on in your own way and not like theirs. You're right. Naruto agreed, realizing it now. But for tonight, Tenten continued as she turned Naruto to face her, forget about all that, just relax and let it all go. She placed her hands on his face. Come here. I'll make all your pain go away, she said soothingly as she gently pulled his face into her breasts to use as pillows. Damn, this is wow, Naruto thought, but I'm so tired. He yawned in his thoughts as he fell asleep, wrapping his arms around Tenten's waist as she pulled him back to the bed as they slept the night. Sweet dreams, little fox, Tenten said soothingly. That night when Naruto returned home after his fight with Gaara, he found to his surprise Tenten in his bed while in the buff. After having a heart-to-heart talk about street fighting, he fell asleep into her embrace. When morning came, Tenten opened her eyes and looked down, seeing Naruto was in the exact spot he was when he fell asleep, embraced within her while his head was in her breasts. She smiled at the sight of his sleeping form, still asleep. I can't really blame him since he had such a wild night last night. How'd I get so lucky to have such a cute boy like him? She thought as she enjoyed the feeling of his head in her assets. She smiled as she whispered into his ears, "Wake up, Naruto." Naruto tossed and turned, groaning, "5 more minutes, Mom." Tenten smirked as she slinked her hand downward to Naruto's lower region, and suddenly Naruto's eyes shot open and he called, I'm up, I'm up." He panicked. Tenten laughed in response to his sudden wake up thanks to her little trick, "Gotcha." Tenten. "Oh, you gotta warn somebody before you grab them by the twig," Naruto said, catching his breath. "Sorry, I couldn't help it," Tenten replied. Naruto peeked out of his room and saw his parents or Jiraiya weren't around, making him sigh in relief. "Good thing my parents aren't home. Otherwise how would I be able to explain the girl naked in my bed?" Tenten laughed at his joke. "They'd freak." "I know," Naruto said. "Tell me you brought a change of clothes with you." "Of course I did." She motioned to her bag on the floor. "You didn't think I actually walked here naked, did you?" "Do you honestly want me to answer that?" Naruto asked rhetorically, and she laughed. "Well, I'm gonna grab a shower and change," he said, going for the bathroom until he felt Tenten hold his arm. "Unless you want to take one first." Tenten smirked. "We're alone in the house. We both need a shower. It'd be a waste of time if we took separate ones." She batted her eyes at him. Naruto blushed at her words. "You really want to?" "You bet I do." She grinned, holding his arm in between her bosomy mounds. "All right then." Naruto smirked as they headed for the bathroom. Soon the two were inside the shower stall as the water poured on them, and Naruto was washing Tenten's back with the soap as she moaned from the feeling. "Oh Naruto, that feels great." "Thanks, I aim to please," Naruto replied as he continued washing her back pleasurably. Naruto then started massaging her shoulder for her, enjoying the feeling of her smooth skin. That's it, Naruto, that's the spot." Tenten moaned as she felt whatever stress she had was lifted. She then turned. "Now enough of my back, time for some full front action." She stuck her chest out, signaling what he must do. Naruto, taking action, started soaping up Tenten's breasts, not missing a single inch, and started washing them off. "Good, now that they're clean, they want you to pleasure them evermore," the girl said, taking Naruto's hands, placing them on her breasts again, and he started massaging them as she moaned in delight. "That's the spot, Naruto, keep it up." Naruto thought as he continued, "Damn, I though last night was cool, but this is hot." "I can tell you're enjoying this, Naruto," Tenten said. "I mean, you do obviously like the big-breasted kind, don't you?" Naruto was taken aback at that. "Now hold on there, what makes you think?" Tenten cut him off. "Too bad I can't amount to the size of Samui's. I mean, she's got a bigger pair, and mine are standard." She motioned to her chest that still ranked as a C cup. "I guess I'll always be second to Samui." She pretended to be dismal. "No, that's not true." Naruto burst, getting her attention. "Yours are perfectly big and beautiful too." He blushed, admitting that. Tenten blushed in response too, while smiling. "Thank you for answering so honestly, Naruto. And because you were so honest with me, I should happily return the favor," she said, going behind Naruto, pressing her soft firm breasts against his back, making him gasp, and she calmed him. "Just relax, Naruto, and let Tenten take care of you," she said, grabbing the soap and started washing Naruto. Oh baby, does that feel good?" Naruto moaned in joy from Tenten's work as she continued washing and massaging him. "Come here." He reaches behind him, pulling Tenten's head closer as he kissed her cheek and in response wrapped her arms around him, nuzzling with his face. Soon after their nice long shower, Tenten was sitting on a stool as Naruto was putting her long hair back up in its cute twin-style buns perfectly. "There you go, Tenten, as round as your breasts," he makes a comparison. "Thanks, Naruto," she said before kissing him as a thanks. Soon the two were in a clean set of clothes as Tenten sat as the kitchen table while Naruto was cooking some eggs. "How do you like your eggs, Tenten?" Naruto asked. "Scrambled," she replied. "Wow, so do I," Naruto said as he continued cooking. Soon the two were happily enjoying their breakfast. Naruto, this is delicious." "Thanks, my mom taught me," Naruto replied. "So what do you have going on for today?" Tenten asked curiously. Naruto looked to her. "Well, after last night I figured I should do some research on the tailed beasts team and see just what I'm up against." "That's true. You will end up having to face them since you already defeated Gaara. Tenten replied, you should check the street fighting website.
Way ahead of you. Naruto replied. Soon after breakfast, Naruto was at his laptop by his bedroom desk as Tenten looked over his shoulder as he was checking a website that listed all the active street fighters in the region. He noticed he was among the top 20 best in the region and spotted the Tailed Beast team. He clicked on the link and it brought them to the Tailed Beast team's homepage on the site. Wow, Kami wasn't kidding, these guys have such history and are incredibly well known throughout the region. Naruto pulled up a file from the site on Gaara. Gaara, him nicknamed Shukaku, and was the victim of abuse from his father, who actually hired hitmen to try and kill him. He defeated all the hitmen in self-defense until his father tried to kill him, but Gaara ended up killing him by accident. Well, I can see how he got that attitude of his before he met me. Currently resides with older sister and brother Tamari and Konkuro. The blonde-haired boy then pulled up another file on the second member, who was a female about the age of 29. She had straight blonde hair bound with taut bandages so as to keep it away from her face. Her attire included a tight black and white shirt, black pants, purple fingerless gloves, a long string of seemingly plain red beads wounded around her left arm, and a red sash tied around her waist. Yugito ni aka Nibi. Naruto began, gymnastics champion throughout high school years, not bad. Has a job as a cat seller helping stray cats find good homes. Her fighting style is cat art. She has the balance and pouncing talent of a cat. Yup, that kitty's got claws, Naruto. Tenten said, careful or she'll maim you to death. No joke, she leaves scratch marks on her opponents. Naruto chuckled as he clicked on the third member. The third one was a boy that looked about his age. He had messy gray hair, pink pupilless eyes, and what a stitch-like scar running from under his left eye all the way down his cheek. He appeared to have a dull expression and wore a gray undershirt with short mesh sleeves. Over it was a green poncho, a turquoise sash around his waist, paired with a green indiment over his pants. Brown boots opened on the back, and on his back was a staff-like pole with uneven hooks with a green flower on the end of the larger hook. This guy Yagura aka Sanbi doesn't look any older than I am. Not too much data about him. He attended a school from another country, loves aquatic life, especially turtles. Very skilled swimmer, ain't that cool? He seems to have skill in the field of fighting with pole weapons, no doubt, since he carries that one in his picture. Naruto explained. Well, don't be fooled by his dull expression. He may look like he lacks personality, but he makes up for with his fighting skill, Tenten replied. I'll take your word for it, Naruto said as he opened the fourth file. The fourth was a man looking to be in his early 40s. He had solid red hair and a beard. H wore a large headpiece consisting of a three-pointed crown-like ridge, bearing a prominent black piece of armor running across his cheeks and the bridge of his nose. His outfit included a long-sleeved purple shirt and pants, and brown armor. Roshi aka Yanbi was a humble man who used to be a wrestler for his school's wrestling team, but quit after he almost landed his opponent in the hospital. Naruto read the description. Fighting style is use of brute strength like a gorilla, and likes to bind his opponents. Many have suffered broken bones after fighting him. Ouch. Yeah, you may have to be careful or he could break you in half, Tenten warned him. Naruto clicked on the next file as a picture was pulled up of a man that was heavily armored in what was known as steam armor, colored red with a furnace on the back that emitted steam. He had light brown eyes and his armor extends all the way to the bottom half of his face, covering it up. Underneath the armor covering the bottom half of his face, he wore a white cloth which also covers both sides of his face and the top of his head. Aside from his red armor, he also wore a red kasa or conical straw hat over the white cloth, and it seems to be composed of the same material of his armor and furnace, along with a black gi, with the sleeves seemingly torn off, and black gloves, a bronze-colored ring around his neck over the armor, and the armor covering his arms and torso were plated. This guy Han aka Gobi apparently also had a harsh life, being neglected by his family, and looked down upon as if he never meant anything to anyone. This resulted in him having a loathing for humanity, thinking the world is out to get him. His fighting style is stealth. By emitting steam from his armor he can attack while his opponents are shrouded with no sense of sight. Clever guy this one. Naruto read the details, but I can imagine it must be a burden wearing all that armor, especially on hot days. Next guy we got is Utakata aka Rokubi, Naruto said, pulling up another file. Utakata was a tall, thin, young man with pale golden eyes and dark brown hair that reaches the base of his neck. His side partition lets a large portion of his bangs cover the left side of his face. He wore a long, light blue kimono adorned with a small emblem of 3 bubbles on the back below the collar, and an orange sash. He carried a bamboo jug and a pipe.
Utakata is described by their site as stoic, carefree, and prefers solitude over socializing unless it's with his fellow teammates or his girlfriend Hotaru. Naruto read the description, but he does apparently have honor and always repays his debts. His hobbies are mostly relaxing and blowing bubbles from his pipe. Not many seem to have been capable of landing a blow on him because they say he's as slippery as a slug. Yup, though he's also been known to not show emotion, especially when insulted. You try that, he'll brush it off on you. He's made a lot of his opponents angry when he shows no signs of being affected by insults, Tenten commented. Naruto looked at the next member, seeing it was an 18-year-old girl that wore an orange clip in her short, spiky mint green hair that matched her eye color, which was also orange. Her outfit consisted of a short sleeveless white midriff shirt with fishnet armor underneath, long white armlets, and fishnet shorts with a short white apron skirt over it. This girl is known as Fu aka Shichibi. Naruto began, a tough girl who grew up with foster parents around age 6, and had a passion for insects. Though her records show she's a nice person, she's also a tough girl that's been known for bringing opponents to their knees with her style of the rhino beetle. Coming up now we have the Hachibi or B. Naruto read. Samui said she knew this guy very well, he said, bringing the file up. B was a 35-year-old dark-skinned, had a muscular build, blonde hair and a goatee. His top lip was a darker hue than his bottom one. On his right shoulder was a tattoo that was the kanji for iron. On his left cheek was a tattoo of a bull's horn. His attire included oval-shaped sunglasses, a white cloth wrapped around his forehead. He also wore a white one-strap over one shoulder flak jacket, with a red rope tied around his waist, hand and shin guards, sandals, and a white scarf around his neck. B's said to be a master in the art of rapping, always coming up with rhymes, and has a habit of writing down new ones even when he's fighting. He's been known by others to be cocky and stubborn, especially in terms of his own strength. Naruto read. His fighting abilities are based off of wrestling moves. I'd sure like to see them in. Also sensitive about raps and his lyrics and doesn't take kindly to insults about them. Then you should take note as to not be insensitive about his style, Tenten warned him. You got that right, Naruto said as he pulled up the final file on Kami the leader. Finally we have Kami, and it's just as he told me about having two titles, Rikudo Senin and Jubi. He founded the Tailed Beast team about 5 years ago, collecting any street fighter who took the identity of a tailed beast for their title. Growing up on his own at the age of 19, he got involved in street fighting and was proven to be a very skilled fighter. He was most legendary for taking on 2 entire street gangs single-handedly, and from then on was challenged by various opponents to test his strength. Just like how others tested his strength, he sought out others to determine if they were worthy to join his team. And now Naruto, you are the subject of his attention, Tenten added. He believes you have the potential but still requires you to continue learning and hone your skills until you're ready for each of them. I know. Well, if Kami has such faith in me, I'm not going to disappoint him or any of the other members. When they come I'll be ready for each of them, Naruto replied. Tenten then draped her arms over Naruto and he blushed, feeling her cheek rub against his own. I know you'll be ready, Naruto. You are one of the strongest fighters I've ever met. Thanks, Tenten. Naruto smiled as he stood up. How about you and I find some fighters and get some exercise? Tenten smirked. Wild idea. Naruto then grabbed his jacket. Let's go, he called, and the two ran out of the house eager for some fights. Naruto knew he would fight the Tailed Beasts team one day, so he had to continue fighting whatever opponents he could find to hone his skills so that he'd be ready to fight them. Thanks for watching. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.